black community. There's a few questions here, a few ways we're going to look at this. Question number 1. According to dictionary.com, the definition of code switching is the modifying of one's behavior, appearance, etc. to adapt to different social cultural norms. Is this definition of code switching accurate? I'm going to say...
Yeah, he's struggling.
Kinda.
I'd say yes, it is accurate. But I'm curious, Fu, why do you think kinda?
I mean, because it's not always a, yeah, I guess you could say it's accurate, but...
So how about this? What's your issue with the definition?
Well, I mean, sociocultural norms makes it seem like it's a broad cultural thing. It's usually, it has to do with like, well, let's keep it real. Like, it has to do with acquiescing to a Eurocentric culture. So...
No, that's only in the way you use it.
All right, so give me an example of code switching.
Outside of that?
Outside of that.
All right. Let's say you're a corporation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you do business in, let's say, the United States a particular way. But when you're doing international business, you have to adjust to the cultures of those foreign nations. So some countries, when they conduct business, they like to focus on the social first and build the friendship and the trust. So you're more focused on, America, we're kind of straightforward. Like, yo, this is what we're here for. We want A, B, C, D, F, G. Let's negotiate. While other countries, nah, you get there, you share a gift, they share a gift. You make jokes, they make jokes. They invite you to dinner, breakfast, all of this stuff.
Right.
And then finally by like day 4, then you guys start talking business. You see what I'm saying? Like,
that's when you gotta take
you're
the
adjusting
Japanese
to their culture,
to the strip club.
Yeah, or not even like,
Wow.
like I'm trying to give like another example. Because I think with black people, we only think
Code
black
switch.
versus white, but like everyone code switches, including white people. But white people, they'll do it when they want your
Seems
dollars.
cynical when they do it.
But
In my experience.
really. But they do it. They're not necessarily doing
dog,
it.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's like they're doing it because they need something from you.
Wait, so is cultural
Is it the
appropriation
same-
code switching?
Yeah, it is. Code. That's a form of code
I'm
switching.
gonna be black for the day.
But even when black people code switch, let's say in a corporate setting, isn't that the same thing? Like, we need something from them,
Yeah, I remember
and that's
this.
why they're that's the reason for code switching. Like, is it the same?
There's this old Fuji song called is it Fuji's or Wyclef? It was one of them. I think it was the Fugees. It's called The Mask. And in the song they talk about how like
Shout out to the
shout out to Wyclef, we like wear these masks, right, in our lives so we can survive through certain periods. So like that's how I look at code switching. Like, it's just a means of you surviving in your industry, or dealing with your peers. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
That's how I look at it.
When I think of code switching, I'm just thinking corporate going for a job. That's the first thing that pops in my head when I think of code switching. I'm thinking of going on an interview, putting on a suit, making sure you talk a certain way, shaving your beard, or maybe...
oh yeah, I used to be like that.
I gave all this stuff up, but... just kind of doing whatever you can do to get the job. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
Taking a part of yourself out so you can fit in and assimilate with the group.
Yeah, so now, again, it's about assimilation. So that doesn't necessarily have to be in a corporate setting. That could be in any setting. For example, at my job, I see kids that were raised in white communities their whole lives come to college and go, yo, I don't feel like I can identify with being black. As if being black means you have to talk a certain way, walk a certain way, behave a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But their paradigm is white America.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? They try to put on this, I'm black, so they got to overcompensate and do like funny style shit.
You're saying the black kids is code switching to be black so they can fit in with the black community, but they really white kids and black skin.
I'm not saying all of that.
I'm playing. I'm playing.
But
Take the first part.
minus the last part of what he was saying,
Yeah.
Fool's actually somewhat correct. So it's kind of like they're just, in their minds, they go, okay, well, if I talk more quote-unquote hood, then I could be cool with, everybody around me. You see what I'm saying? When it's not necessarily a thing that you have to do, but they
Right.
feel like just to fit in, they have to do it.
Well,
So it doesn't have to
I
always
think
be
you gotta
amongst
blame
black people. I mean, white people. It could be amongst black people. It could be amongst, people who are churchgoers. Like you may not even believe in this shit, but when they say, yo, bow your head and pray before dinner or whatever,
You just bow your head.
you gonna bow your head, right? Unless you a dude like G, and G goes, nah, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know a lot of people that go, yo, fuck, I just do it just 'cause I don't want no problems. I'm just gonna do it.
Is that code switching?
It's
I mean, to me,
I
it
think
seems like
sometimes
it is.
that's just being respectful.
Because it's like, nah, it's
Right.
I don't need to be in your faith to take part. Like I pray with a Muslim. I do whatever you. But that's me because I'm more of a spiritual dude. That like you know what I mean. I can get down with people's spiritual practices, but as long as your intent is good, you know what I mean. Because there's some spiritual practices I can't really get down with.
Let me ask you a question. Do they accept your spiritual practice?
Who?
These religious people. Do they accept yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they might. They might not. That's not my problem.
All right. But
what you believe is not my problem.
So now, they don't accept yours, but you accept theirs. And so when you're chilling, you'll do what they tell you to do.
No, it's not about doing what they tell you to do. It's just about like if you're in a space, right? Just being a part of that space and being respectful to that community.
Okay, so you know what you're saying?
Yeah.
That is code switching.
Hey,
Maybe.
You're assimilating to a culture.
I'm a
Listen, as I used to be in Metco.
yeah.
I'm very familiar with code switching.
For those of you who don't know what MECO is, that's a program which takes black kids from the inner city, shifts them out to the suburbs,
to
get
get
an
an
education.
to get an education. So
And I've definitely seen instances where I'll give this story real quick. I have two older sisters. One day, my mother told me that my second oldest came home. She was in middle school with a history book. She was in 7th grade. She was in Metco out in Needham. The other sister was in 10th grade. They both came home with the same exact history book. She's like, there's something wrong. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, out in the burbs, they, seem to be learning far more advanced, like in that history class at least. And she's seen this on several occasions. At the time, she wasn't like allowed, she wasn't like a loudmouth where she was going to like talk, talk to someone about it. She didn't really think much about it, but she was like, yo, I kind of regret it. I definitely would have said some shit about it. Now, just to go back to me being in Metco, one thing I noticed when I would hang out with the white kids in school, elementary school, like let's say 4th grade, the kids would say like, not suspect, they'd say sketchy. If something was like off, they'd be like, oh, this seems sketchy. And then I'd go back home, we would always say suspect. You know what I mean? So I would sometimes say suspect, they're like, yo, what's that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, it's like sketchy, I guess. You know what I mean? Eventually I started saying sketchy with them, but I'd come home and say suspect. Am I code switching?
well, that's just language. I don't think that's necessary. I think that's more colloquialism.
Do you say? Hold on. Do you say sketchy amongst your black friends in the projects?
No.
Then yeah, you code switching, bro.
I don't know. But, see, but it's...
You're literally. Come on, yo. First and foremost, let's stop this. One thing about black people that we know, we make anything popular, anything popping. Like we could say something, and then tomorrow everybody else and their moms is gonna start saying it. So
right?
Stop that. Rome could have said sketchy to his peoples, and it would have got on. It would have spread throughout his neighborhood, but he chose not to. Why? Because he's like, yo, this is what I say with my white friends. So because of that, I think it is code switching.
But that's only because suspect to me. I mean, it's the same thing, and it's just amongst them. They
in that sense,
sketchy.
you're not trying to. Well, you are trying to assimilate into a culture, but it's literally a language barrier. So it's like when I think code switching, I'm thinking more than language. I think it's more of a behavioralism that,
No, I think it encompasses all of that. I'll give you a perfect example, right? So I got cousins.
Anybody speaking another language
growing up, but no. I had cousins
Chinese
growing up.
code switching.
No, that's yeah. All right, now you're being a little extreme, but I'm about to explain. I'll give you an example.
I don't think it's
when I was a kid, right? Like I had cousins. I have a bunch of cousins, right? Mm-hmm. The cousins from Boston, we would say "duh," right? Like like. But my cousins from Lynn, they would say "der." And I remember when I first heard, I was like, "The fuck is that?" You know what I'm saying? They were like, "What you mean?" And I'm like, "What the fuck that mean?" Like, like no brainer. Like, and I was like, "Oh, you mean duh?" And they were like, "Yeah." I remember one time I said it in school. Everybody looked at me crazy, like, "What the fuck is duh?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm never gonna say this shit again." You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, yo, that's a form of code switching. It's like when you're over there, when you're chilling over there in Lynn, you can say that funny shit. But yo, when you back in Boston, yo, cut that shit out. You see what I'm saying? Like, so again, code switching doesn't necessarily have to be black people around white people. It could be just socio-cultural, economical, just any clear difference, and you're trying to fit in somehow. And you do that knowing that you want to do that with people that look and behave like you, then you are code switching.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Specifically your story. That's why I said Chinese, right? They literally could not understand the language you were using. So it's not like you were trying to assimilate to them.
You telling me black
like you were
kids
trying
don't
to just
know what
communicate.
sketchy means, bro?
Nah,
Yo, listen.
so it's more so me saying suspect around them and
Bruh.
they didn't pick up on it.
Dog,
Bruh.
stop. Yo, respect yourself,
I don't know what
man.
sketchy means. I'm just I'm just saying.
Now he cooning. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying.
It's more so they didn't understand
It's a little
suspect.
sus.
And I could have just tried to make that cool, but I think it was more just me hearing sketchy. I just started saying
That's what I'm
sketchy.
saying. There was an actual language barrier there, where it's more for me.
Is that a language barrier?
I think there was a language. It was he used language in a particular way, a colloquialism that his community uses, right? That community did not understand that colloquialism because it was foreign to them. That I don't think that. I mean, in a way, you could probably say that's code switching.
It is,
but it's not really.
I think I think all right.
It's like, yo, if I was like, that, I mean,
this is
you know
not.
what I mean?
Now I'm getting where I think what Food's trying to say is, Food believes that code switching has to have a negative connotation to it.
No, I'm not saying that.
To
I'm not
me,
saying
what
that.
he's doing is code switching, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Because he's in two different worlds.
So then,
two different worlds have two different languages.
So then,
two different styles, two different cultures, two different behaviors. If he's like he is amongst both, and he's interacting with both, it's completely fine if he goes, you know what, when I'm amongst these white kids, I gotta talk like ABCD, but when I'm back in the hood, I'm talking like XYZ.
I mean, is that what you was thinking?
Not necessarily. I think I think I just would hear sketchy more and just started using the term sketchy because I was like, this is what cats say. But then when I was home, I'm comfortable. You know what I mean? So I say what I want. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, that makes sense. I mean, I guess, yeah. But the reason I use the analogy of language is because if somebody doesn't understand what you're saying at all, it's not like you're trying to accommodate them. It's like you're literally just trying to understand each other. I've had this problem with mad white friends where I speak my speak, and they're just like, oh, what it. I'll give you an example. My roommate, right? Mm-hmm. He uses I call cleaning up chores, right? Mm-hmm. He calls it cruise. Cruise. And I was like, what the fuck?
I've never heard of it.
Yo, I said, exactly. I said, what the fuck is cruise, bro? I never heard
from
that.
Like England or something?
No. So crew is short for cleanup crew.
Oh.
So, bruh, I was like, yo. But then he from like Oregon. You know what I mean? So like, that's a whole other side of the United States. I'm pretty sure they use a lot of stuff that I don't even know. I can't even fathom.
Right.
You know what I mean? But a lot of it is regional. A lot of it. But as far as code switching, I mean, it does happen. As we go to work or we go to places, school or whatever, you gotta switch your language up to be taken seriously.
So what is code switching? What does that entail?
What
must one be aware of when utilizing the art of code switching?
All right, so it's code switching, right? I'm at work. At work, I switch up the way so I can be more understood. I switch up my speech. I used proper English dialect, the Queen's English. I hold myself upright. I say hi, Bob. How you doing? Hey, how's the kids? I'm very cordial. Code switching is like taking your language and just using it so you fit in the space.
Yeah.
So
that's hard to.
Yeah, so
I feel like
pretty
it's
much you're mimicking those in power because you're trying to fit in, right?
Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah, so
right.
again, if in regards to what Fu was saying with a work environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
As black men, because the stereotype is how aggressive we are, and we have negative stereotypes of being criminals and things of that nature, we could come off as intimidating to white men. So brothers
and white women,
yeah,
and black women for that.
but brothers would purposely, and I've seen this at work all the time. Brothers will purposely like lower the bass in their voice. Mm-hmm. They'll change the way they walk. Like
whoa.
Yeah, like they adjust their posture.
That's a force.
To fit in. Nah, yo, you be surprised.
No, I know what you're saying. Like walk upright.
Yeah, what he said, like walk upright, this, that, and the third. Like, yo, you know how brothers walk. Brothers walk with swag.
Yeah.
You don't walk with swag in a corporate office. You know what I'm saying? All that shit stops. You know what I mean? Why? Because you don't want that negative attention on you. So you move a particular way.
What's wrong with Jimmy?
What's
in his pants? What's going on?
Nah.
Why is he walking like that? Is there something wrong with
real
it?
talk. It's in all of that. It's in your dress. Like certain things you'll probably do amongst your peoples. Mm-hmm. But at work, you're like, nah, I can't wear that. I can't do this. I have to talk like this. Mm-hmm. Like when I listen to my rap music, I put the volume all the way down in my cubicle or in my office, or I have to plug in the headphone jack.
Yeah.
While Johnny across from me, he's blasting fucking EDM or country music or some shit. You see what I'm saying? But the intern wanted to talk.
Yes.
Speaking to the mic, so that I can hear you.
I was going to say, like, code switching could mean different types of things. Like, you have brothers who front, like, when they're with their boys, and then they're a different type of person when they're with their, like, closer circle, like their family, their girl, or just in different environments. Like, or say you have people who go to church, who attend church. They're, like, all religious and holy, but as soon as they get out, they're like, fuck this, fuck that, F you, bitch. They're real...
I see what you're saying.
Yo, that's an excellent point. Yeah, you see, that's what I wanted to bring up before. Thank you, intern. Like, there's like the fake wokes, right? Mm-hmm. These dudes, I'm a feminist. Sexism's wrong. This, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But around the fellas, fuck them bitches, son. Yo, where the biddies at? You know what I'm saying? That's code switching. Same thing. I've seen dudes, like, I think just leaders in general, right? Mm-hmm. They're masters of the code switch, right? Because they have to pretend that they're perfect, right?
Right.
For the sake of for real. For the sake of
I'm just thinking of somebody who's a candidate right now.
Yo, facts.
I was just like,
hold on.
I'm not gonna say the brother's
talking
name,
about, but
he was like,
he's a clown.
He was like, yo,
but he gets serious now. I'm like, yo, this ain't the same dude. Like when you see him, he's always joking.
He was like, yo, it's our time. But yo, that's what.
But now,
that's my homie.
But now he's like, yo, I gotta get elected, son. It's time to clean it all up.
Yeah.
So it's like we all code switch. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with us and white folk.
So is it so I want to talk real quick. Let me move into corporate culture. Mm-hmm. Because I feel is there a fine line, or is it the same thing? Code switching, corporate culture. Like for example, being in the workplace,
so
having to clean up the way you walk and all this.
Is the white person who's working at the cubicle next to you, do they have to code switch themselves in the same way that you do to fit into corporate culture?
But let me.
Or do black people gotta go the extra mile? You need a code switch with the frosting on top.
Well, let me say this, because I've done phone support for places. You know what I mean? Obviously can't say, but I've done phone support for a few places, and on the phone, everyone cleans up, even white people. They definitely,
you got to.
You're not.
How am I?
Obviously, they're not like maybe we have to go 5 more steps ahead to do it. Just because of like our background and how we came up. But for the most part, everyone has to clean up on the phone, sound professional, make sure that whoever you're talking to is comfortable.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
that's still a form of code switching, but that's customer service, that's professionalism, right? Where, you know, the corporate culture is saying when you're interacting with customers, you must interact in this particular manner, right? But let's just say your company doesn't have these type of regulations or rules or whatever, right? And if you're still doing that, like, you know, lowering the bass in your voice, you know, trying to sound like, you know,
I've never
Jimmy
done that, just FYI. Sorry, go ahead.
right next to you and all of that stuff, because you're seeing like, oh, you know, customers seem like they really love Jimmy, or Jimmy's getting a promotion, so let me act like Jimmy.
Well, it works.
Then it's like you are code switching. You see what I'm saying?
People doing it because it works.
Exactly. So your goal, your objective, maybe conscious or subconscious, but your objective is I want to survive or I want to thrive. And so for me to do this, if I have to act like these people that look nothing like me, oh well, it is what it is. I'm willing to do it. You see what I'm saying?
I guess. So it's the same thing then.
You know, that's a little different because you're talking about customer service, where everyone has to do that. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
So
yeah.
that's why
So
it's
you
a little
saying you don't
different.
got a code switch to
No.
survive in the corporate? I'm just saying.
Hold on. You
Can a
saying
black
that-
man wear his swag? Can he do his little diddy bop into the office and still make it in the game?
Yo, it depends on what industry he's in. You know what I'm saying?
Not even a big diddy bop, just a little sway,
Yo, it depends on what. Hold on, it depends on what industry he's in. If you're in the music industry, you might be able to get away with that. You know,
All right,
if you work at a law firm, I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you work at, like, let's say a hedge fund firm or something like that, I don't think so. You're dealing with old head white guys, you know, traditional, that wear like suits and ties every day to work. Like, they're expecting you to uphold that culture, and then to do that, you as a black man, maybe, I won't say 9 out of 10 times, but I think the majority of the time, you're gonna code switch. You know, unless you was like raised in that environment where it's not necessarily code switching. It's just you being it's natural. It's you being who you actually are. See what I'm saying? But for a lot of us, maybe this is your first time getting like a good paying job. Maybe your parents were high school dropouts. You know, a person was a nurse aide or a custodian or a cab driver or a bus driver or something. Like, this is where you're coming from, and then you moved on up to a white collar job, a management position. And everywhere you look, when you go into these meetings, no one looks like you. So then what do? You go, okay, what is this person across the table doing that I'm not doing that garnishes respect? I'm going to adopt that and do that, put it into my arsenal so I can move up in the ranks. You get what I'm saying?
What's wrong with that?
It's nothing wrong with that. However, the only time it's wrong is when you sacrifice, or you feel like you're sacrificing a piece of yourself to move up. That's when it's a problem.
Okay, so then I have a question. I don't see it on here, so I was, again, off topic. Not on topic, but off schedule. Is code switching a bad thing? Is it negative? Is it?
It depends.
Well, I mean,
it really depends.
Anytime you acquiesce, right? And I use the word acquiesce because it's like, it's something that you don't want to do, but you're doing it just to assimilate with a culture, then, you know, you are losing a part of yourself, and that is negative. So
yeah, but that's not every
just
person
sounds
that
like some
code
shit
switch.
I don't want to do.
I'm not saying
Hold on, that's not everyone.
I'm just saying it's
Because some people code switch and they want to do it.
Yeah.
They want to do it. Some people they
Well,
code
even if
switch
it-
because they don't want to do it, but they feel like they have to do it. You know, so to me it depends. But I would say this:
Yeah.
code switching is negative when your original self is frowned upon. See what I'm saying? So if the people that you work for, the people that you vouch for, the people that, you know, you interact with on a day-to-day basis, if they will see you around your family, around your friends, and go, I don't like this person, then I think it is negative. Because you can never be your true self around them. You always have to
that's true.
paint this picture, right?
Right.
And that's the problem.
They judging you.
Exactly. You know, or maybe they're not judging you. Why? Because they like you.
You might be judging yourself.
Exactly. But you're constantly reflecting on it like, God damn. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I can't do this. Or let's say, like, you do mess up. One time you go like, oh, hey, yo, what's up? And you dap up your boss by accident, and you're back in my like, oh shit, I fucked up. Hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And so like, if it's like that, where it's like, yo, you're like your personality's like split and shit like that.
Yeah.
To me, the shit's negative,
It's
yo.
negative.
It doesn't
I agree.
seem healthy to me. You know?
It's not. You shouldn't have to suppress yourself on a daily basis for 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, and then that OT, 40 hours a week. You're putting yourself on the back burner. That's definitely not healthy. So it's a negative thing and not let. I see. You know. Well, let me jump to this next question because this is the interesting one. In W.E.B. Du Bois's The Souls of Black Folk, he writes about the double consciousness where black people see their reality through the lens of mainstream white America, making it difficult to embrace their own identity. So as a mistreated second-class citizen, you strive for the approval of white America at the expense of your own identity. So if mainstream America views blackness as inferior, is it our double consciousness that pushes us to code switch in the workplace?
I say yes. You know, and the reason why I say this is because, like where I work, right? I work with educated black people that for some reason feel like they're separate or even better than inner city black people of like lower means and things of that nature, right? And they make themselves clear, like they pretty much say they on a regular, oh, we like to embrace the talented 10th philosophy and things of that nature. This theory that Du Bois also created that he later on in his life said, nah, that shit was some bullshit. But they believe in that. Why? Because when they look at, you know, inner city people, when they drive, past Blue Hill Ave to go to work, they're like, ah, shit, I don't want to be associated with them. And then so, again, you're in white spaces, right? So white people are saying all kind of things that are negative in regards to our people. And you go, well, I'm not like everybody else. So I'm going to do anything that I can to get approval from these people. Even to the point where it's like, yo, come on, yo, but these are your people, though. You rather be associated with white people than your own people.
Yeah.
That and not to mention too, is kind of like you see the fucked up shit that's going on in America. You see the fucked up shit that's going on at your job.
Yeah.
As a black person, but you go, you know what? But I just want to get approval. Either I want a raise, I want a promotion. So I'm gonna suppress all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? But it has to eat at you. Yeah. You know, when it's like, come on, let's just say you worked at I don't know. Let's say you work at like a company, right? And you know it's gentrifying your neighborhood, right? You see what it's doing, and you go, "Damn, that shit's fucked up," you know. But do you say something? Because if you do, motherfucker, you're gonna lose your job, right? Or that promotion, kiss that shit goodbye. That raise, not anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're kind of torn, right? And so, even if like these corporations have these stereotypes about your people, about your culture, you know, you could be that advocate to shut all of that shit down, but you're scared. You go like, maybe I shouldn't say anything because if I do, then I alienate myself, I outcast myself, and then, you know, I'm pretty much like, I'm gonna put myself where there's a glass ceiling. But if I just shut the fuck up, I'm good. You know, and that's, I feel like, where the double consciousness kicks in.
No, you're right. I rock with that.
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna just say W.E. Du Bois was a snitch.
What?
I gotta keep it real. I think he was one of the first recorded code switches in history.
First recorded code.
He helped start the NAACP, and code switching didn't help him stay in it. They kicked his black ass out. So
yo, hold on.
I'm gonna just keep it.
Hold on, let me backtrack. Yo, in Du Bois' defense,
yes.
Remember, he grew up in Western Massachusetts. His town was like white. You know what I'm saying? He was a biracial kid. You know, his view of blackness is completely different from our views of blackness.
He had Drake's views. Views from the city.
I'm just trying to make you understand
Nah,
his
I
point
know.
of view.
Yeah, I understand. I got souls of black.
And you gotta understand,
folk
at that time, the majority of black people who were educated were also biracial or multiracial, like Du Bois. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta understand that talented 10th concept and that mindset, and even the double consciousness mindset, are coming from people who their blackness is completely different from our blackness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
Nah, but I'm gonna just say it's not. I don't feel like it's totally true, because I feel like people got to do what they do to survive. I don't think you necessarily lose yourself unless you're doing something that you feel is unethical towards your whatever your personal code is. I don't know. Everybody got different morals.
All right. So how about this?
Especially
A drug
in this-
dealer who sells drugs to the community,
Yeah.
but says, "Psh, I could sleep at night." You're saying they're not losing a piece of themselves?
I mean, they're on some cultural relativist. If it's that's their social norm.
Cultural relativists.
All right.
Like, I'm not saying it's right in my views, but especially this is a good example. You got a lot of young men, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're in impoverished situations, and they start selling drugs, thinking, "Yo, this is my only option." Maybe they're not doing good in school. They might not have maybe their parent is on drugs, and then they start selling drugs, and they get, some money that way, and it might be easier for me to judge outside the situation, like, yo, this is completely wrong. But maybe within their paradigm, they don't have any examples of anything that's, somebody doing right.
But
or
does that
something.
mean there's no double consciousness? Because I guess
Is there a only I say the double consciousness is within yourself when you have a realization within yourself that, yo, what I'm doing is wrong. So a lot of people, even people who code switch, a lot of people, they're like, yo, I'm just doing what I got to do to make it through this corporate world or make it through
they're just
work.
climbing a ladder.
And they're not necessarily, I mean, if you want to call it coonin, you could call it coonin, but I don't think it's coonin.
I didn't call it cool. I said they're
No,
just
no,
climbing.
no. I'm just saying.
I mean, this is what I think.
I didn't say you say it's cool. I'm just saying, I mean, for me, for a black person to acquiesce or take part of their blackness, we would probably say it's coonin, right?
To take part in
But,
their blackness?
I mean, take part of
your blackness.
like take
Oh,
part
to
of your
remove
blackness
your
away, to remove your blackness, to accommodate white people. Is
So is code switching cooning?
I think it's
Yo, your
there's a
definition
line.
of cooning is just to say it again.
No, to accommodate white folk.
Yo.
Accommodate white folk.
Nah, come on, son.
I mean, there's more. There's
then
a
you
lot
saying
of
the
definitions
majority
of
of black
cooning.
people are
I was gonna
cooning.
say that's a lot
That's
of
what
black
I'm
people
saying.
on the plate, yo. Yeah.
What?
To
I mean, I don't
accommodate,
remove my
you're saying
blackness.
to accommodate black folk
Nah.
is to coon.
I'm not saying in the sense of just. I'm not saying in the sense of just changing your language. I'm saying like you're changing like.
That's like 75% of the black
No,
people.
I would say this. This is where I disagree with Fu.
when a white person walks in the room, like say if I was just talking to G, right?
Yes.
And I'd be like, yo, don't say that. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A white dude just walk in the room, start talking. You know what I mean? Or I just start talking.
Yeah,
Hey,
don't
G.
say nigga, 'cause
Nah,
This
but
white guy's
hold on. What are you
Yes.
guys talking about, though?
It don't matter.
It does
He's
matter.
trying to say that just
Because it might be a reason why you said stop talking. You
I
see what I'm
mean,
saying?
if
So
it's-
are you saying, oh, hey, just stop talking because we sound black?
No, I'm saying within that situation, if the person is like, yeah, or you're like the language we're using is too hood.
Yeah.
We don't
I'm
want to
gonna say
present
this,
ourselves.
and this is
in a
where,
certain way.
all right, and
I mean, just
I
go
don't like-
straight in for the kill. You're saying you don't want to say nigga in front of a white person when they walk in the room. You're telling someone to stop.
I
talking
mean,
that
it don't
way.
gotta-
But that's not cooning, though. You know, like, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't say it either in front of white people. You know, and the reason why is because I don't want to give them any ammunition to look at us in a negative light. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I hate when I hear white people on YouTube saying we should be able to say the N-word because you guys say it. Like, fuck out of here. You're not from where I'm from.
Me personally,
You see
I
what I'm
don't
saying?
really care what white people think, either here or there.
You see, now
that's
you're
just-
lying. Just stop it. You
I
do
don't.
care. You
I
know
don't.
why? Because when shit pop off, what happens? People die. People get arrested. You know, police abuse black people. So you do care how white people view us. You see what I'm saying? Because if you
But
don't
is that
care,
because of how white people view us, or is that because that we need to do things in our community to secure ourselves?
both.
So
we
those
need to
things
do both.
don't happen.
We need to do both.
I
You
don't
see what I'm
know.
saying?
So we need to-
So I will say this: we need to control our image. That means even in the media. Why? Because there's a lot of white kids
So
that
you believe
grow up.
black?
No, I'm being real.
I'm gonna disagree with you right now.
Maybe, but there's a lot of white kids that grow up, right, in towns where there's no black people, right? And so their only interactions that they have to black people is literally fucking TV. So if the only interactions that they have with black people is fucking rap videos and movies and video games, when they get older, right, that fear, because all of our images for the most part are still negative. So when they go off to college, or when they get that 9 to 5, when they become a police officer, or when they work as a lawyer or something, right? What happens? What do you think they're gonna look at you like?
They never seen a Cosby Show on TV?
I mean, listen, I'm gonna jump on what G just said, I'm gonna jump on what G just said.
Yeah.
I've gone on, we used to work for this artist program, right? I got sent out to Wyoming at one point with this dude, right?
Yeah.
There was this one girl that we met who was from Montana. It was obviously a small town, very white town. She was saying how there was only one black kid in their entire school. She said that me and this other dude were the only other two black people she's ever met in her whole life. And I think at the time we were 17.
Yeah.
So she said exactly that. She was like, yo, honestly, she's like, outside of like MTV, I don't really see black people at all. So we were her experience. Now, she was candid in saying, yo, I never thought that you guys were so
human,
and especially myself. And
but
if you know
think
me,
about that.
I'm super cool. I'm super calm. You know what I mean? Very nice. I don't have a hateful bone in my body, right? So when she sees someone like me, she was just like, yo, honestly, outside of MTV and this one black kid that I don't even see in my town. You know what I mean? That's her perception is what's seen on TV. So my question to you was going to be what G said. You don't think we need to control our image?
I think that sounds like a problem for her and her community. I think we need to control our image for the sake of our community, but I don't think we need to walk around thinking, what do white people think of us? I just don't.
No.
I just don't. Some black people do, and it's fine if you do. I mean, but I'm just saying.
Listen,
for me,
I've often been a black man in white spaces, and I understand what you're trying to say.
Because in that situation, my question for you was, were you different around her to accommodate her, or was you just being you and then she
we were just being
it?
us.
That's it. That's all you got to do. Just be you. And even in the work,
we took care of that spot.
Even in my work situations,
we were the stars, obviously, as black people.
I worked for even my work situations where I worked for a nonprofit.
You just be you?
I had it.
You just you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say y'all. I don't quote switch. Okay, but I might throw some slang in. Yo, listen. I'm gonna tell you this funny story. This dude, he was a developer, right?
Hypocrisy.
He was a developer. White dude. You know what I mean? I ain't even told him I do music. I guess I don't know how the conversation started, but we started talking about music.
Oh my God, Fu, you look like a rapper.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. But he was just like, I've been, I just been living my passion, man. I just want to do my bass.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know why he felt compelled. I was like, do you think because I'm black I like bass? I mean, it's true. I'm black and I do like bass, and most black people do like bass. If you black and you say you don't, I'm gonna sneak up on you with some bass, and I bet you're gonna start dancing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's the thing, we do. But you know what I mean? Some slang came out in that conversation from my part. You know what I mean? And we were in a corporate environment, but he understood what I was saying. I understood what he was saying. Now, why did that slang come in? Because there was an opening for me to be me and him to be him in that situation, because we were talking about something personal. So, but that's what made it okay in that environment, that we were talking about something personal, something that he did, something I do, make music. He was talking about his love for music and making music and wanting to do more.
So let me ask you a question.
But
what is coonin again to your definition?
Well, coonin to me is just that. Like I say, accommodating, right? You're taking a piece of yourself out to make sure that the white person is comfortable.
You don't do that at work.
No, I don't do that at work.
Come on, son.
I know you don't believe me.
Rome, you believe Fu? You believe Fu, Rome?
I will say,
Rome, you believe Fu?
At some point you accommodated. At some point you gave some.
How many times we be on the phone with you, bro?
What?
Stop. Yo, come on,
You
man.
have to at some point at some point you toned it down. You turned it
No,
down.
no.
Bullshit.
Do I turn my black down? I mean, I turn food
Shut
down.
up. You turn your
I don't-
fucking black down. Shut up. He's about to say something stupid. Well, I turned my food down.
I turn my food down. Nah, but I'm not always, you know what I mean? I'm not always on some wild out shit. Sometimes I'm cool, sometimes I'm copacetic. And so, you know what I mean? I act accordingly, but
What that mean? Act accordingly. See how you trying to slip that in there, right?
yo, listen.
What that mean?
I mean, there's certain things you can't do.
She said,
Like what? Like what?
I mean, I ain't gonna go walk up to my boss and be like, damn, yo, that ass look fat today. I mean, there's certain things you can't do. That dress is crazy.
Have you felt like saying that at some
Sometimes you want to say that shit, but you can't.
God.
You can't. Sometimes you just want to throw that Patrice O'Neal. That Patrice O'Neal want to coming out of your.
Yo, shout out to Patrice O'Neal, yo. Rest in peace, R.I.P. Patrice.
That corporate skirt is hugging your booty today.
Yo, listen. Yo, according to Fortune.com, several black men they interviewed felt they have to constantly balance their image in the workplace. They feel they have to appear focused in the office, but not too aggressive. Hungry but not threatening, well-dressed but not showy, talented but not too talented. Nearly all had experienced conversations shutting down or being shut out when matters of race were brought up. Do you feel black people can be their authentic selves at work? I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna assume Fu gonna say yeah.
It depends where you working. That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh, all right.
It depends where you working
Long as you
and
know.
how.
Listen.
Nah, I mean just it
Keep it
really
100.
do. It's
Yeah, keep it 100.
it's the cultural I mean,
But what if you can't? Are you
I
saying
feel
that
like if you
therefore
work
they're
at
cooning?
Google, it's gonna be
Are
different
you
from
saying
if you
therefore
work at the
they're
bank.
cooning? Are they cooning then?
Nah, yo, listen.
Because that's
I'm gonna keep it real because the majority of people even listening to this got to go to work and answer to a boss. When you got to go to work and answer to a boss, at some point you got to acquiesce because you ain't doing.
So then, are you saying that the majority of Black America are coons?
Yo, listen.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, yo, your definition.
Yo, he's like, this is your definition.
Yo, that's a fucked up definition, bro. Because it's like you're saying if you have to acquiesce and you have to suppress some form of your blackness, therefore you're cooning.
No. If you're going out of your way to acquiesce.
Nah, you see.
How about that? Does that work?
Man, yo, listen. Can certain black people be their authentic selves at work? Yes. Can most of us? Probably not. You see what I'm saying? Because we probably weren't raised in that environment. You see what I'm saying? But, and not to like go off topic, but kind of to answer Fu, right? I think the difference between code switching and cooning is a person who is cooning believes that white America is better than black America. You know what I'm saying?
As many black people in the corporate world do. That's a reality.
That's your opinion. But,
that's not an opinion.
So,
that's something I know. Like,
anyways,
I've interfaced with these people.
Right. So you interviewed what, like millions? You've interviewed millions of black
everybody's
folk.
different. Everybody's different.
Then.
Not everybody.
All right.
I'm not saying
so it's not
everybody who's
fact.
corporate.
It's your opinion. But now, cooning, right, is when you want to separate yourself from your blackness. You acknowledge white culture, even at the detriment of black culture. You see what I'm saying? That's when you're cooning now. But code switching, I think, is literally just an art form of survival. You know, it's like, yo, you go to work, you might have to say this, you might have to act like this, walk like this, dress like this. Boom, you'll do that because why? This is what you need to survive in this country. So you do that.
But you
that doesn't make you a
think
coon.
at a certain level, code switching can become cooning?
Yes. If in fact, at your job or let's say whatever social group or environment that you're in, where you have to literally humiliate yourself or your people just to survive, then I would say yes. Then you know what, you could be labeled as a coon. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part, we don't have to do that. For the most part, what people do is they just suppress their blackness. So hence, it's kind of like, yo, when they tell you at work, don't talk religion, don't talk politics, right? When you think about it, right, just being black is a socio-political statement. You know what I mean? So we don't really talk about our blackness at work. Why? Because it forces people to pick sides. So what do? We don't bring it up at work. You go to work, you do your job. You know what I'm saying? Somebody may even say something that's racist, or maybe say something that's like a microaggression. But some black people will be like, you know what, I'll let it slide. I'll give it a pass because I don't want it to interfere with my work. You see what I'm saying? You're based off of what you're saying is, then therefore that person must be a coon. No.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my God.
This is what I'm going to say today. I think that for the most part, when you walk into the building, when you walk into your place of work, this is my experience, right? 10 years help desk IT technician in very corporate places. And this is my experience. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say that I code switch to get the job. Once I get the job.
Oh, so y'all saying y'all coon for y'all temporarily coon. Oh, that's what you do?
I'm actually gonna take G's definition on code switching being a tactic for survival.
Thank you.
Simply because you have to get this high paid job so that you can take care of.
I keep my teeth white.
So that you can take care of the expensive fucking expenses that you have at the crib. You know what I mean? You gotta do what you gotta do.
Boss is expensive, bro.
Exactly. Now, this is the thing, though.
Yeah.
Once I get the job, I start to slowly go back to black.
And incorporate yourself.
Yes.
Nah, but you know, I'm gonna tell you.
Hold on,
white people
before
appreciate
you jump in.
that, though.
Now, listen.
They do.
Listen, I'm keep it a buck, yo. When I tell you all the time, yo, I would go in dressed proper, yo. Lineups and all of that. Eventually, as I got more comfortable with the people, I would slowly start to grow the beard. I'd slowly start to let my head dread up. I wouldn't really even comb my hair sometimes. I would just go in. You know what I mean? Now, for the keep in mind, I'm in IT. It's probably a little different for us. You know what I mean? If you're in IT, they usually hire like the nerds, the geeks. You know what I mean? So these people come in with like gaming t-shirts anyway. So I guess I see these people can be themselves. I'm going to be myself. You know what I mean? But it's my version of myself. So I'm going to come in. Eventually I start coming in, you know, basically year 1, I'm suited up. By year 3 or 4, I'm probably timmed out in the hoodie. Timberland boots, hoodie, fitted.
Yeah,
like,
but that isn't. But
now, it sounds like a force, but yo, no one said anything to me. No one said anything to me, and they would still talk to me. They probably looked at me a couple times a little sideways, like, yo, what is he doing? But I guess I had the attitude, like, yo, say something. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? Tell me I have to take my hoodie off? It's just a hoodie. You going to tell me I have to take these boots off? It's raining outside.
I don't know. Sounds like you're going against the grain here. No.
I mean, that's kind of my personality, but...
All right, that's you trying to be you. But that's what I'm saying, like, because you went through a process. Did the white person, I don't know, I'm sure some white people got hired after you got hired. Did they have to go through that same process? Or was they just like,
so they
first day, I got my Pac-Man shirt on. I don't know.
No, I think I think it was the same thing. I think eventually they got more comfortable. Now, again, I think maybe the help desk IT department is different.
Yeah.
Because we're not customer facing. We don't go out and like try to get big money. We're just helping the people who work for the company get their computers fixed. So
yeah.
I feel like our environment might be a way more relaxed.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
But you know, ultimately, I just have to be professional over the phone, right? But ultimately, my coworkers and peers, they didn't look at me different. Now, this is just in my experience. I can't speak for everybody. So I guess I'm wondering, do you even have to, unfortunately, because I had to get the job, maybe we do, but do you have to hide yourself?
I'm going to say, in my experience, yes.
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it from another perspective, right?
If you want to keep working for them.
It depends on the industry. It depends on the field. It depends on who's the hiring manager or the hiring committee. So, like, for example, right, like, I've trained, like, you know, my students on job interviews and things of that nature, right? Like, what to wear, like...
No Timbs and hoodies.
Nah, but yeah, but also, like, even hairstyles, right? So now,
I'm not
you gotta, but yo, it's like, yo, but think about this. Yo, look at us, right? Y'all two got locks. I got a big ass beard. It's like, these are the type of things that, you know, are frowned upon in certain industries, right? Mm-hmm. So when you go for that job interview, I just tell my students, just know, you know, they may look at you a particular way. Mm-hmm. So,
yo, you on your Dean Aki?
But it's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like, you gotta look at it like this. If that job won't allow you to be who you are, and that piece of you is truly a part of your identity, you shouldn't apply for that job to begin with, or you shouldn't take the position, you know? But if it's like one of those, like, you know what, I don't even care for this hairstyle, this, that, and the third, then it's not that serious, right? But for I'm assuming, looking at Food's hairstyle, yo, he's bought that action.
That's him. Yeah.
So, he can't just like cut that off and then just grow it back tomorrow.
Right.
It ain't one of those type of hairstyles. You feel me? So it's like, he gotta know, like, all right, when I go into particular spaces, this is who I am. Take it or leave it, right? I'm gonna be 100 with y'all too. When I applied for my job, right? Like, I remember I was like, damn, I should cut off my beard because, like, you're supposed to be clean shaven, all that stuff. But I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not going to do it. Then when I got there, luckily, I was like, okay, cool. These people seem cool, whatever. I'm good. I didn't even have on a suit. I had a button up and some slacks.
Yeah.
And some shoes, but I didn't wear a suit. I didn't put on the blazer, right? I was whatever.
Right.
I was wilding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I actually got the job.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. I don't dress up at all, yo. I come to work now in jeans, sneakers.
Yeah.
I give 2 fucks. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why is because I'm going to be honest with you, my reason is a little different. Mm-hmm. Because I kind of look at it like, well, you know what? I'm not going to move up in this motherfucker. They hate my politics. Mm-hmm. They see who I am, so it's like they like me where I am. And because of that, I'm like, you know what? All right, cool then. Fuck it. I'm just going to be chill.
Right.
Sometimes I don't even care about, I say certain things I know I'm not supposed to say, but I'm like, it is what it is.
Right.
You know what? Fuck it, yo. Like, I'm still loved by the students. I still do my job. I do more than the job description even entails. So it's like, in a way, they kind of, it's like, even if they hate it, they gotta accept it. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes in my experience, that's probably what got me canned. I mean, but at the end of the day,
think about this though. Imagine if you that brother that's been fucking up. You know what I mean? And they know, and you got a target on your back.
That's when they're gonna pull out all the stops.
Yeah, so now, are you dumb enough to be like, yo, I'm gonna show up in Tim's in a fucking champ hoodie? Are you really gonna do that?
Yo, be yourself or work for yourself so you can be yourself. That's what I'm actually telling all black people. Find a way to try to get money out here, work for yourself.
Man,
yo, listen.
Don't give advice that don't make sense.
Nah, these white people are killing this Instagram economy. Black people, do you even know there's an Instagram economy out here? Do you know people selling clothes on Instagram? Do you know people selling, what are them shakes? The models be... No, but really though.
Yo, first and foremost, not everybody has the capability or the drive to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone has the capability or the drive to be a boss. So let's not try to just say, hey, black people, everybody need to just be their own business owners.
Essential.
Like, stop.
No. I think at this point, though, it's essential for our community to start thinking differently about business and start figuring out how we can do our for-profits, our own non-profits, our own, support each other.
I mean,
because at the end of the day, I want to walk into a boardroom. I want to walk into a boardroom where everybody got dreads, dog.
Yeah, but not everybody in the boardroom is a boss. So what are you saying?
I'm just saying Jesus Christ had dreads, so shake them. I ain't got none, but I'm planning on growing some.
Yo,
shout out to E40.
Can you discuss racial politics at work?
Man, I don't care.
Again,
you in a conservative space. I'm gonna tell you something though. I was, because I worked at a nonprofit before, I was in a pretty liberal space. Meaning the type of things in my hairstyle I worked, I was a manager, you know what I mean, with this hairstyle. And what would be acceptable in that type of environment, I know that I couldn't get away with certain other environments, but because a lot of the people I interface with were people who worked at like Google, Microsoft, and those type of environments, depending on what your job is, you know what I mean, a lot of those people, they would love, I love your hair. I would get that like daily from white people. Mm-hmm. I'd get it. Actually, I get, if I were to look at like the scale of people who give me compliments on my hair and people who diss it, I get a lot of shit from black people, but I think it's because black people just aren't used to seeing black people be themselves unadulterated.
Yo, fool.
So
You're not answering the question.
yeah.
We're talking about racial politics. You're
No,
talking
that
about
is
hair.
racial. That is racial politics, though, because it's how we see ourselves, how other people see us, and that's what it really falls down to in the office place. How we being looked at, right? If I gotta assimilate, right, into a culture, there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? There's a reason that.
Yeah, but hold on. But
I see what you're saying.
But you're walking into the space regardless with your hair, so you're not having a discussion.
Oh, the
That's
discussion.
literally your presentation.
But this is the thing. The discussion is if I'm not having it, somebody is having it. You know what I mean? Around me or
Okay,
saying,
again,
hey,
the question
it's
is,
more-
can you discuss
Yeah.
racial politics at work? You showing up with your locks, you're not saying you're walking in there having a conversation with everybody about your racial politics.
Has my locks ever affected me from getting a job or affected me from?
God.
Well, look, G, I think you kind of came up with this question, right? I think where it's coming from is you're talking about like things that go on, globally, locally, news, whatever, right?
Exactly.
These incidents that have to do with race. Can you discuss these incidents?
Well, so we have like we have things like the military banning certain hairstyles, right? And we have like those are all.
Yeah. Can you discuss? So can you discuss those things? Can you discuss like a Ferguson situation?
Exactly. So let's just say like, everybody
I used to
in
talk
America,
about race. Listen, I would talk about race in my office all the time, interfacing with other employees who are white, employees who are Latino, employees who are other black people who thought completely different than I think, because some of my leanings sometimes are pretty conservative. You know what I mean?
I got you. I'm gonna be honest. I've never. I just never even felt like dealing with anyone's opinion, I guess, at work. But there was one time where I had to jump out. I can't say the particular incident because it'll give away, one of the places I used to work at.
Yeah.
Even describing the story, I'm gonna be a little choppy.
Hey, you might as well say.
But listen,
you don't work there no more, yo.
But listen,
keep it. Speak your speak.
Can't offend his political connects.
Hey,
you know
yo,
what I mean?
but listen, yo. But
Speak your speak.
there was a point where, someone had to call into the help desk. They didn't know who that person was.
Mm-hmm.
The person is it was a VIP client, right? A VIP, in help desk is just like usually like a higher up, some executive level or a person who gives a lot of money, makes big donations and stuff like that. So there was this instance where that was like a public thing on the news where I guess a guy was literally just going home and they thought, I guess this white lady neighbor thought that someone was breaking into someone else's house. She thought this black man was breaking into this house. Mm-hmm. Black man was just going home.
Yeah.
So they called the police on him. You know what I mean? It ended up being this huge thing.
Yeah.
So this guy calls into the help desk. And they're like, "Oh, who's this? Oh, you haven't heard of Skip? Oh, you don't know who this is? Blah blah blah." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Oh, he was in the news. It was like a black guy. It was something with the police and blah blah blah. He was getting ready to water the fuck out of this shit. So I had to jump in and be like, yo, this is what happened. He was going home. This white woman thought he was breaking into his own house. And then they called the police on him. That's why it was so controversial. And then they were like, oh, if I left it to my supervisor at the time, he would have watered it down like, yo, this was just another nigga with another police story. You know what I mean? Like, he just like threw it up to threw it up to the black man police some shit. You know what I mean? He kind of made it like that. So that was the one time where I had to jump in and be like, yo, hold up. You know what I mean? And I even almost, I had to like hold, I had to calm myself down a little bit because I was like, I know this nigga ain't about to just chuck this shit up to nothing, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think that was the one time I'd probably discuss racial politics. But for that exact reason, the way he was, that's why I don't even care to go into racial politics with these people.
Well, I mean...
So I don't even like try.
I mean, sometimes it's about educating people. Sometimes, other people educate you about their opinions or where they're standing from. Like, I worked with majority women, you know what I mean? So... they would educate me on how they feel about Donald Trump and all, like, mostly.
Yeah, the discussions would happen, but I don't really give my 2 cents. I would just listen to them.
You just be like, yo, y'all don't want to know what I. No, but you know what?
Much,
it works sometimes because I'll say because I don't even think Because I worked in such a liberal environment, and some of my leanings are sometimes conservative. There's sometimes I wouldn't speak up on a lot of things because it'd be like, yo, I don't want. Nah, it's not because you cooning. Sometimes not everybody need to know what you thinking, bro. Not everybody, especially if you know.
You have to suppress yourself, right?
No.
Because you have to suppress a piece of yourself, right? So, fool, you call
you want to call that cooning?
That's what you called it, not me.
Hey,
I def wasn't cooning, dog.
You wasn't cooning.
Nah, you wasn't cooning. You was standing up. You was standing up for what you believe.
But I'm be honest. All jokes aside, right?
Yeah.
Like, all three of us, we are fortunate enough to be in spaces where we can have those type of conversations and those type of discussions, right? Mm-hmm. I talk racial politics literally every day, and I don't even have to think twice about it. Why? Because I'm in a black space.
Academia too, so
not just that. I'm in a black space and I'm in academia. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm just fortunate enough to be in a space where it's encouraged, right? However, though, imagine if I was in I worked for a Fortune 100 company or whatever, right? And it's strictly corporate. And I'm the only black person in the space. And every day or for multiple days on end, right? You're on social media or you're watching the news and you're just seeing police brutality or brothers being murdered, sisters being murdered, Sandra Bland, all of that shit. You seeing all of this and it's fucking with you, right? And then you go to work and people are like, hey, wow, you seen that Michael Brown video? Yeah, that fucking criminal or this and that third. You're hearing all of this shit at work.
You heard that?
No, not me. I'm just giving an example, bro. Come on, yo. I'm in a black space, yo. I'll slap you. You know what I'm saying? But imagine this is what you're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
And you have people, let's say, who have conservative views, right? Yeah. Who probably go yo, why can't black people just act more like us? You hear this type of shit. You're like, yo, what the fuck? But you can't say anything. Why? Because you'll get fired or they overlook you for promotions or raises. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So it's kind of like black people don't necessarily have safe spaces in a lot of industries. You know what I mean? It's one of those we're cool with you. We're all about diversity and inclusion as long as you're a chocolate-covered white person. You know what I'm saying? And so it's you have to move accordingly.
Chocolate-covered white.
Yo, real talk. It's just you're a chocolate-covered Negro. You know what I mean?
Which way would you see? Which? Hold
on.
I would call that cooning.
I don't necessarily call that cooning because that's what they want from you. You know what I mean?
No.
It's cooning when that's what you wanted for yourself. I think that's when it's now cooning. You know what I'm saying?
No, what I'm saying, if you stay black, we all got to do stuff we don't want to do, that's just part of work.
I'm sorry.
But
my fault. Say that one more time.
Cooning is when you do that for yourself. You want to do that for yourself. You literally want to be either you want to be white or you want to be accepted by white people. You know what I'm saying? That's when, in addition to the other stuff I was saying, but right. To me, it's
just when it's for yourself.
Yeah, it's not necessarily because they view you as
that don't make sense to me. As long as you don't internalize it, you're not cooning.
No, listen to what I'm saying. You were saying because white America views you as a safe Negro, therefore you're a coon.
No, that's not what I was saying, bro.
So what are you saying?
I was saying literally. I was saying to so I'm saying acquiesce. So I'm like, yo, if you know something and don't set right.
Yo, you just said multiple times you acquiesce, and I go, are you a coon then, fool? And you said, no, I don't think so. So what are you saying? You have an incomplete definition, bro.
Nah, listen. Why I mean acquiesce is you yourself know in your moral code that you would not do this, but you're doing it because they told you to do it at work. At that point, you were cooning.
What did they tell you to do to find cooning?
I mean, we gotta do what specific situations?
Because
I don't know.
There's a lot of things that people tell you what to do.
What I'm saying is mad similar, except for what you're saying.
Cooning has to do.
That,
it has to
you haven't internalized your impression.
Identity and race, right? It has to be back to identity and race. So if you're saying,
maybe we should just stop using. I actually would like black people to stop using the word coon, but. That's another. No, I'm just saying.
I respect it
because I'm just saying.
All right, thank you. Let me finish though.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
What?
You're the one who brought up cooning. By the way.
But I didn't start.
But now, hold on. But now,
I didn't finish.
But now, right? if you're just saying, I forgot my train of thought. He cut me off
If
so
you're
many
just
times,
saying,
dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, if you code switch around white people unconsciously, are you cooning?
that's what I'm saying. Well, all right.
What you mean? That's what
No.
you're saying.
I don't think. What do you mean unconsciously?
I guess like if you're, I guess
So
unconsciously.
I just so the white girl Sally, she just walks into the room. Hey Sally, how are you? Oh, did you watch Empire last night? Oh man, it was so great. Like that.
And then when
Just because she walked in.
and when the brother walking, yo, what's good?
Hey yo, what up, Jamal? Yo, what up, fam?
Right.
Yo, what's good? Yo, you going to a basketball game tonight? Yo, what? So, but if I did that back to back,
See, here's the problem. This is just speculation. This isn't true, right? I'm just
maybe I'm
playing
just a
into
good
it.
thespian. Maybe
But
I'm an actor.
when you start acting black in some of those situations,
Yeah.
you end up becoming this caricature for them. You know what I mean?
I do.
There would be
yes, that's
times
true.
where I wouldn't say like hello.
Yo,
I'd
hold on,
stop saying
hold on.
hello,
Yo, can
hi.
I just say one thing?
Yeah.
All right, y'all be saying this acting black shit. Again, black people, it's not like a way you act. You know what I mean?
I think
Like,
he's talking about.
I get it, but let's put that in quotation.
We'll just say
I understand
use
what
a
you're saying.
slang, black colloquialisms.
Yeah,
things,
because
things
again,
that
you're
we
implying
use.
that all black people talk and behave the same way, and it's not true. So
Yeah. Well, black American culture or whatever, right?
Nah, but even the squarest. Yo, listen. Even the squarest black dudes get slang and colloquialisms. Even the dudes from the
not
suburbs.
true.
Yo, if I
That's not
say,
true.
yo, I'm
Nah.
Gucci, that ain't some black American culture shit?
hold on, that's some black hip hop shit. Yes.
Yeah, that's specifically
black
hip
though,
hop
right?
culture. Yeah, but if you said that to an older black person, they don't know.
But if
What
I
you're
say
saying.
it to an older white person.
But there's certain
An
things.
older black person would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just like older black people,
I'm trying to
they
think.
don't
So it
want to
can't
hear.
transcend
Hold on,
age.
you can't go to like a person that
Intern,
went through the
what's
Jim
up,
Crow,
what's
the Jim Crow South, and be like, yo, what's up, my nigga? They not laughing, bro. It's not the same culture to them. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's different.
All right. Well, generally speaking, if you start to add, all right, just so I can go into what I was trying to say, I guess, instead of saying like "Hello, Susie," and I instead was like, "Yo, what's Gucci?" or "What's poppin'?" You know what I mean? Eventually, they start to mimic that, and it becomes this. You kind of become this caricature.
Would
to
you
them.
feel comfortable with a white person saying "What's popping" to you at work?
Like if they start doing that back? Is that
Which
a
is
problem?
like, yeah, what's good or what's goody, or what's good?
What's good,
Hey,
my nigger
what's-
fool?
I mean, let's say they don't even say the N word. Let's just say what's good. I didn't say the definition of colloquialism. I said, give me a black colloquialism, son. Oh, yo, we need interns that listen, man.
Yo, damn, son.
I said, look for a black colloquialism.
Word.
Yo,
Saying that an OG would say, I don't want
No.
hip hop slang. I want like
no need
something.
for no need to flex.
Yo, Rome,
Flexing
you know
on
what
the
I'm saying?
intern.
I'm just saying something that the black community says that we would understand, but that, you know what I mean, if you said like at school or at work, a white person might not understand what you're talking about, or they might mimic it and be like,
All right, what's good?
what's good? I mean, do older black folks say that though?
Does that matter? If an older person?
Yes, I
don't
think
know.
it matters because I'm
The only
thinking
reason
about
it matters
things that we
because,
say.
yo, the problem with and this is not just white people, but black people do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, we keep looking at black and white on some like monolithic type shit.
But it's not.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, you
No.
gotta understand, like, everything is factored in. Like
Yeah.
location, ethnicity, economic status. You know what I mean? All of
does this-
these get factored in. So you can't just say like, yo, acting black. You acting black in Boston may be completely different from a person in freaking I don't know,
Albuquerque?
Albuquerque acting black is. You see what I'm saying?
Wait,
Like,
do we even have black people
I
in
was
New
just gonna
Mexico?
say that. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, yo, I said when you said your
I gotta
example,
visit.
I was like,
Somebody
put
take
the
me to New
blackness in
Mexico.
quotations because that could mean a lot of things. I don't want people just thinking like, yo, we're also perpetuating a stereotype of
Nah, but
to be
there-
black means you gotta act like this, you gotta walk
No,
like
no,
I
no,
see
no,
what
no.
you're saying.
There's
I'm not saying that you
there's
have to
not
be that.
acting
That makes
black,
sense.
But there are certain colloquialisms that I can't say just black people use, that mostly black people use, that are things that we say in the black community that are like
Well, I
older,
don't know
young,
that I can do that
older,
because I'm
not
a
just
younger
hip hop
black
slang. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just
So-
something that your uncle or auntie
Yeah,
might say
I don't
to
know.
you.
Figure that out. And
That's why I wanted the
But for the
intern
most
to give
part,
me.
for the
But
for the
Yo,
sake
Jack,
of
I just
I
like,
just
yo,
need an example
like
of that.
old or
I
young,
can't
we
think of it.
want like in Black America, right?
Yeah.
We talking double negatives. You know what I'm saying? Like white
ain't-
people don't really do that. You know what I mean?
What's the Doug? Like what?
Like I ain't gonna do none of that. You know what I mean? Oh, wait a minute. I ain't gonna do none of that. That exactly. That's a double negative.
Okay.
I ain't.
See, then you're gonna get corrected
None and
and
ain't.
told to
Oh,
speak
double negative.
English.
All right.
What's good?
That make mad sense though. Because I understood what you said.
Colloquialisms are terms we use, or in black colloquialisms are just slang that we use that's common to us in like.
That's common in the black community, not necessarily used in the white community.
So I've worked in the BPS system or public schools, and I witness this all the time. Like students have the term or the saying "on dead dogs," and teachers would mimic them. Oh, on dead dogs, on dead dogs. Like so.
Oh no, that's disrespectful, yo.
It is, but
That's disrespectful.
they do that.
Because I know what that means.
Yes.
Yo, but hold on. This is the crazy part. I like what he just said.
Yeah.
I got students from New York and New Jersey. They've never heard what dead dogs is. They were like, yo, y'all Boston dudes is weird, yo.
They never
Yo, that's
heard
because
of
that's
dead
our
dogs.
slang.
And that's my point.
That's
so
our
now,
slang. Well, that's the thing.
isn't-
That's why it's a colloquialism.
It's not- yeah,
It's
it's
from
not
a certain-
universal, you know
it's
what I'm
not
saying?
universal. Even
So
I guess what's good.
I was just,
I
pointing
guess
that
no,
out.
fair enough,
all right,
fair enough.
So saying
That makes
like,
sense.
yo, what's good, young blood, right? Yo, all right, yo, what's good, young blood? That's what my OG might say something like that to me, right? But if all right, say if you're I don't know out of after school, and you working with you got working with white kids, you working with black kids. Could you say what's good to the white kid? Yo, what's good, young blood? Could you say
Nah, that wasn't even my question.
I'm just saying.
My question got lost. I appreciate
Is
the
that code
correction.
switching?
I appreciate the correction, but my question did
Yeah.
get lost. What I'm saying is if you're trying to if you're being yourself in like a corporate setting or something like that, like
Yeah.
I said, and you're not code switching, and you just pop back with a what's popping or whatever, you know what I mean? And they start trivializing that. I don't even know if trivializing is the right word, but they basically start kind of mimicking that.
it.
And
Yeah.
is that a problem? Is that problematic?
Yeah, that's problematic
You know what I mean?
because
That's cultural appropriation. Hell yeah.
It's not just cultural appropriation. It's
So they
almost
can't say it
just
back.
like when he said like if a teacher
I'm
said
not having that shit.
What's-
you know what I'm saying?
hold on,
But like, yo, but then again, it's kind, and this is my point. It's like
It's like
and
they're
that's
making
why-
fun of you on the
Hold
low.
on, not even. Maybe it could be that.
I don't know.
But
That's
that's
how
the
I
reason
feel.
why.
That's
But
how I
that's the
take
reason why I don't say the N word around white people, because I don't want to give them any room to mimic me or mimic what we're discussing, or to have room to hide their racism by saying, oh, because you guys say it now, I
language.
can say it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh, they say it in front of me. They're comfortable enough to say it in front of me.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
I'm
like
down.
you saying like, yo, what's up to your boss, and he goes, what's up? Hey, what's up, G? It's like, nah, yo, that shit ain't fucking funny. But because I know that could give him or her the justification to do that to me, I would not say, yo, what's up to my boss. It'll just be, hey, how you doing, sir? Or how you doing, ma'am? And keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what you gotta always be mindful, because you don't want to give them any ammunition.
Well, I'm gonna say
You can say, I don't give a fuck, but then again, you do give a fuck. Why? Because, yo, they're signing your check, bro.
You know what? It's weird. If I'm at a board meeting and I'm speaking to I'm speaking to my superiors, I never use slang. But if I'm speaking to like my supervisees, because it's a different connection, sometimes I use slang.
Yeah, because you're cooning.
The black and white.
I'm just saying
Nah,
that.
I'm not.
Your definition
Nah,
again.
I'm not saying that.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
it's more about if I'm in a meeting, right? If I'm in an official meeting, I'm not really trying to have anybody interpret what I'm saying.
No, yeah, you need to make sure your
I gotta
message is
be-
clear.
I just gotta
and
be clear.
concise.
Yeah, but don't you have
So
to
I
do the
use-
same thing with your subordinates?
No, but my subordinates too. You gotta their age demographic. So they're in the mid to young 20s, right? I mean, some of them are older. Some of them are like my lead teacher. She was like my age, I wouldn't use slang around her, but I would use very relaxed language around her. You know what I mean? I wouldn't just. I mean, first of all, she.
No, yeah, you're more comfortable around this.
Yeah,
so
I was
you-
more comfortable. We had a very comfortable relationship.
Whereas when you go into
And
the meeting, you're not. It's not
I'm
that
not
you're
going into.
comfortable,
I'm not going into a board meeting
but you're
like.
talking against these people.
Yo, what's
so you're
good,
like,
everyone? What's good, everyone? That doesn't even sound official.
Yo, what's popping, people?
It sounds like I don't even know what we say. Nah, but yeah, I'm not gonna.
poppin', Kermit?
Yo, what's poppin', yo? You good? You good? How the fam?
Yo, so is there a double standard in the workplace where white people can do certain things that black people cannot, aka white privilege?
Yo, I'm gonna say this.
I don't see white people using slang. I don't know what.
No. I'll give a perfect example. I remember one time I used to work for an energy company, right?
Wicked.
Yo, it was an energy company in downtown Boston, right?
Yeah.
And I worked in the finance department.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there was like one quarter, yo, you have to work mad late till like 7 in the morning. I mean, not 7 in the morning, like 8 p.m., 9 p.m., sometimes even 10 p.m., you know. And I've heard of people who had to pull like all-nighters literally in the office. Then I remember one night, it was like me and a couple of people in my department, right? We have cubicles, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's like the mid-management, right? These were like white guys, like, you know, I was like fresh out of like college, like, you know, these dudes were probably in their like late 20s, early 30s, probably mid 30s.
Mm-hmm.
They were literally listening to Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to F With, like out loud, and they're like rapping to it and everything, and I'm just like, word, this is some fuckery. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, imagine if myself and other black people started doing the same thing in the office.
Yo, I had that same thing
It'll be
happen.
fucking problems.
Where this cat
But they
was
can do
looking
that
up.
shit like it's nothing.
Yo, these two white dudes was looking up. There's this YouTube video where cats like throwing money on the table, and he was like, "Yo, nothing but hunters,
Wu-Tang Forever,
hunters,
baby.
nothing but hunters." And they would just walk around and just say like, "Yo, nothing but hunters." These two white dudes, yo. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo. So I wonder. I just said, where did you get that from? You know what
I'm
I mean?
gonna just say hip hop culture, right?
Because I know you don't just go around walking around saying this shit.
Hip hop is black culture, but it's for everybody. This is the weird dynamic of hip hop. It has influenced the world, and it becomes. This is the hard thing. It becomes a fine line between, is this white person genuinely appreciating the culture, or is it just a mockery of black culture, or is it just them? Oh, I'm gonna just say it straight. Them wanting to be like us. You know what I mean? Like them. I don't know. Can I say pretending to be like us?
Nah, I kind of see where you're going. That's always been a weird conflict for me. I don't know if it's I don't know if you're like, I don't know if they're mocking or if they're like genuinely like
They envy you.
Because I generally know white people who are involved in hip hop culture, hip hop events that like care about the culture. But a lot of people who just buy me, like, you just bumping a 50 Cent record in your Jeep to feel cool. Like, I don't know. It's a fine line. I don't know. Like, I can't interpret that. I don't know.
Because I told you guys earlier, I was in Metco.
Yeah.
And when 50 Cent first dropped freaking, what
Probably
was his
got
first
that all
joint?
the time.
Nah, oh no, I ain't get.
Yeah, I got a white boy one time. I was at.
Yeah, Get Rich or Die Trying. When that album dropped, yo, all the hallways, all these white kids,
I had a
what
white-
up, blood?
I ain't gonna front you.
What
In my
up,
high
gang?
school, everybody was saying,
Real talk.
Yeah, they just like it, yo.
Yo, I had a white boy one time. I was at Brown University
Shit's just tough, nigga. You know what I mean?
conducting
Don't
a
make good
study.
shit.
I was conducting a study at Brown University, and this white boy, I know him from a hole in the wall, walked up to me and was like, "Yo, bro, are you 50 Cent cousin?" And I'm like,
He seen the gap and was like,
and I was like, "What?"
he must be related to
What that got to do with this question?
No, I'm just saying though. But you know, the fact that he felt comfortable to ask me that question, one, two. That's what I'm saying. I don't know where the mocker, like, if
you don't know where the line is.
Yeah, I don't know where the line ends between appreciation for black culture, and mockery of black culture.
But
You know
so
what I
just
mean?
one more time, is there a double standard though in the workplace where white people can do those things and black people can't?
I mean, I think there's always a standard of whoever's in power can just do whatever they want. I mean, I remember I worked for a company. I won't even say what I was doing, but it was kind of similar to G's story where I walked in the office. These white dudes, they all, mind you, there was a company policy, right? No employee can have beards, right? All the floor staff, we all had clean cuts at the time. This is before I had the dreads and stuff. All these white dudes who were in that office had beards. They all listened to hip hop in the office. They all talked in slang, unless they were talking to us. But to each other, they were just like, "Yo, what up, homie?" And this is a corporate environment. This was in Copley. This business was located in Copley. So this wasn't not like no kind of lackadaisical type of job environment. It was kind of a corporate environment, but like, you know, these dudes would interface with each other using slang. They would have beards, but we couldn't have beards. But like all the floor staff, for the most part, were all people of color. So, I mean, in my experience, I think that there is a double standard. But, I mean, that was particular to that company. I don't think that's always the case with every company.
This is what I think.
I don't think if you work at Google, that's going to be the case.
I think that that double standard may be there.
Yeah.
But I think that we more so feel like it's there and don't even try to cross that line. I think that if we
bring
just,
it up, right? Like,
or bring it up.
Or be like,
I think that if we actually just were comfortable and were us,
yeah,
we'd probably be fine and get away with it. And I think that's where I was going with earlier when I was like, yo, these cats were definitely fine with me walking and dressing however I wanted and talking however I wanted for a couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember the double consciousness theory, right? Where it's like your fear of how they view you will probably restrict you from doing certain things. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, you kind of like, you're out of your African mind, right? And real talk, like you took yourself out of that because you want to literally adjust and be accepted by them. When, who knows, maybe you're right. Maybe if you just came in on your authentic Rome, full G self, like, yo, this is who I am, they go, cool. You know what I'm saying? But because we're in a society that's telling us, yo, you have to look a particular way, dress a particular way, act a particular way, you know, stand a particular way, look people in the eye a particular way, shake a person's hand a particular way to get respected and to move up in the corporate ladder. You internalize all of this from a young age that when you finally get a chance to get into those spaces, yo, you don't know how to act. You know what I'm saying? Like subconsciously, you're like, you've been you've uploaded
programmed
all
yourself.
of that. Yeah, you've been programmed to actually behave this way. So you go like, when you're dressing in the morning, you're like, nah, I have to wear, you know, this suit and I can't do this, or, you know, damn.
Well, that would be unconscious code switching, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with code switching unconsciously. Even code switching itself, right? Even if you're consciously doing it, I think there's just a line where you have to tell yourself, there's a certain line of, yo, this is not me anymore. And I mean, it's going to be different for every individual, but at a certain, I'll give a certain example, right? You know how certain jobs, right, there's not that many black people on staff, right? So then, like, let's say like a black person, right, he's sticking to the code, so to speak, right? This other black person, you know, he might use slang in front of the white staff. He might talk to the white staff, but he's well liked. You know what I mean? I think sometimes when that person who can be themselves at work builds animosity towards, or other black people might have animosity towards that person because they're like, how are they succeeding? And I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing everything but bleaching. And
doing everything but
and they're still white. But my whole thing is, I actually think white people or any person loves the genuine self of anybody. So like, if you can figure out like, yo, I'm really this person and I'm just gonna be me, I think you might not always like succeed in the company or something, but like you're always gonna garner the respect of a person just by being yourself. By being your unadulterated self. But it might not fit that environment. That's why it's a slippery slope. Because it's easy to be like, yo, I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna put my feet up on my desk, and you just, you know what I mean? Like,
listen, eventually you get to a
pushed to a point. There's a plateau.
But fool, that sounds cute.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they'll respect you, but you're gonna be unemployed or
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So it's like, you
can be respected and unemployed, but you got to make the choice of what's important to you. I'm not gonna be like, yo, well, don't code switch so you don't. That, I mean, if you're the type of person, you're like, yo.
Let me ask you a question, fool.
Yeah.
Do you really view code switching as a problem?
It can be a problem. Not necessarily. I look at it like I said, the Fuji song, like the mask, right? Where we all got to switch up things.
Have you ever won the mask?
You know what I mean? So, like, if I'm a security guard, right? I got to stand up straight. I got to stand for a long time. I can be like, hold up, bruh. If I don't I can't be like a security guard and be like, yo, fam, can you please move out the way? You know what I mean? Like, be like, oh, yo, this dude is kind of like, what's good? Yo, you guys can't be here right now. You know, the manager said he doesn't want you guys around. Like, you gotta, yo, bro, like, yo, be out. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's gonna be like, yo, this is the nicest bouncer I ever met. Like, nobody wants to meet. You gotta play the position that you know what I mean, that you're doing. So for whatever you're doing, you gotta just, play your position. And sometimes that uses using proper language, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that could be.
You got to be smart about it.
Yeah, you got to be smart about it.
I mean, look, you got to pay your bills. You got to keep the roof over your head connected. You got to make sure your children are straight. You got to make sure the fam's straight.
Yeah,
so you can't just wild out and fucking.
But I'm a different type of dude, because I'm the type of dude.
I understand.
I just be me.
Yo,
all the
but
time.
I can't to go back to the original question. Like, is there certain things that white people can do that black people cannot in the workplace, right?
Yeah.
I remember one of my frat brothers used to say this all the time and talk about like the differences between black mentors and white mentors, right?
Yeah.
Like white mentors.
Pause. I don't even want to use that word, yo. Can we say big brothers?
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
people who help people.
Anyways, people that look out for you, right? So the white ones, they'll just get you the job no matter what, right? Yeah. They won't even think twice. You know what? I got you. Let me talk to so-and-so from HR. Boom, you're in, right?
Yeah.
While the black person that's looking out for you, they go, why don't you just work a little harder? Why don't you do A, B, C, D, F, G without my help? You know what I mean? Like, they'll help you out from a distance. Why? Because their fear is if you fuck up, because they're one of the only black people in there, they go, if you fuck up, you're going to really, really fuck it up for me. And I'm trying to eat out here, so I can't make that chance. You know, while white men, they could fucking, they could get their fucking nephew who's a fucking drug addict a job. He could fucking not come to work half the time, get fired. And nobody looks at that white guy like, yo, come on, Jimmy, you really fucked up.
You know what?
Because of that, we're not going to listen to you anymore.
Do white people, you just made me think, do white people assume that all, like, black people are cool at work? Like, we're all, like we're automatically cool. I don't know. Because I be thinking a few of my jobs, I felt like a lot of white people automatically cool at work. But do they think, say, like, G helps me out with something. We in the office, G helps me out. And you're like, oh, they're in cahoots. Like, I don't know.
I'm not going to lie.
I don't know if that happens. I don't even know if that happens.
I feel like some do, like, thirst for diversity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe they grow in an area, again, where there's just, there's no black people around. There's no anyone else around. Well, that's the thing. I think when they finally meet someone else, it's more of an infatuation. You know what I mean? Like I said, that person was, like, honest enough to be like, yo,
like
I never thought that you guys were,
fetish,
like, so... It's like, really, you guys are, like, hilarious, funny. We had the place bumping. You know what I mean? We were blasting music.
Yeah,
and, like,
entertainment. You know what
pretty
I'm
much.
Damn, G, a tear almost came to my eye, bro. Like, bro, because I'm a funny guy, but,
I don't laugh in front of white folk.
I mean, you're too tough, man. You're too tough.
Hell, listen, dog.
That might be constipation problem.
Listen, I don't play that shit, man.
You know what?
He was like, no white man will ever think I'm funny. Ever.
Yo, my whole being, my
name
whole
ain't
aura
Richard
ain't fucking
Pryor.
funny, dog. You know what I'm saying? For real.
I was going to say something I forgot. Yo, I got it back. I remember
you ain't Gene Wilder.
I remember these two kids came in. This other place I used to work at. These two kids came in, and I think they were interning. They were high schoolers though.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think they might have been. They were like freshmen. It was like a program that they had where they brought kids in to just experience, I guess, working in a corporate environment. And these cats were like, they're from Madison, you know what I mean? Shout out. And like, they would like walk around the office with their headphones on, blasting music and stuff, you know what I mean?
Well, they don't know, they can't.
And pants sagged, it's like the shirt's tucked in, but the belt's on. You see those shit, it'd be like crazy.
It'd be like, I got the whole uniform. It'd be like some
tie,
khakis. Maybe some wallabies or lugs with some khakis.
Yeah, some wallaby. You know,
Tucked in
this was
shirt,
them
but it be
dressing up.
baggy.
This nigga said
It be baggy.
lugs. Who wears lugs, bro? Like,
It be baggy.
Lugs is submitted.
Yo,
it
it be baggy.
But yo,
The
they were
baggy
in.
button-up shirt. Oh,
And
God.
they were walking around the office, and like some of the other black
Negro
employees,
said lugs.
It be lugs or wallabies.
They be rocking FUBU.
Nah, yo, bro. It's a uniform,
but
yo.
yo, some of the
It's
other
a
black
uniform.
employees,
Panic.
they would look at me because they were in my department. They were like, "Yo, these kids are walking around here blasting the headphones. You know, you need to, let them know. You know what I mean? Trying to get me to like tell them to
Like,
clean
yo,
up." So I did, try to come in, or I did go in and say, "Listen, you definitely can't walk around just blasting your music. You know what I mean? It's a
It's
you
a
know,
corporate
Hold
race-
on. Yo,
race
time out,
removed.
son. Yo,
Hold on,
time out.
race
Why they
removed.
ask you to do it?
These were black women asking me to talk to these young
Why ain't
black
they
men.
do it?
Why ain't they do it?
They probably could have, but they're in my department. I don't know why they didn't.
How come they couldn't ask a little white boy in the corner?
I don't know. But
Yo,
I
you know
did
what this
step
remind
in.
me of? Yo, y'all watch Insecure? Well, I
Nah,
know y'all
but
don't.
there's a
hold on.
comfort.
Yo, but perfect
Is
example, right?
comfortability a word? There's
Yo.
a comfortability aspect.
Hold on, but yo, there was on the show
Yeah.
on Insecure, right?
Like, make these kids comfortable. I don't know.
The character Molly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She works at a law firm, and they hired a new black woman lawyer, right? This girl didn't know how to code switch. This black girl just kept it 100, like 0 to 100 all the time.
Oh,
And at first,
I remember that.
yo, it was cute to the white people, right? Everybody was around her. She's doing stories. Yeah, she was their entertainment.
Yeah.
But then the supervisor of Molly came into Molly's office and was like, you know what, can you talk to the new girl for us? Like her behavior is not, to our standard, right? So Molly initially tried to talk to homegirl. She wasn't having it. Then I think a second time she tried to talk to her. The girl still wasn't listening. So then Molly tells her supervisor, you know what, I tried, maybe you guys could talk to her or something. And they were like, okay. Next thing you know, Molly's walking into work. A whole bunch of the executives pretty much fired that black girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, got rid of her ASAP, And to me, that kind of reminds me of what Rome just said. It's like, yo, they go to the person that they feel like, oh,
Will
well,
make them feel more
yeah, like,
comfortable.
intern,
Yeah.
your intern look like he's black and he can relate to them kids. Hey, I'm
So is that racist?
go over there and
But
you know,
again,
we
these
do
are
it.
black
Racism?
women that told me.
I mean, even if it's a black woman.
Yo,
talk
black
to him.
women, it's a little different because I think
She might
maybe
be
they're coming
looking
from a
out,
place
yeah.
where it's like you can relate to them.
I think-
While with white people, it's more like, yo, we don't even want to deal with it. Yo, fool, you just
Carry
handle
that out.
Yeah,
Nah, I
just,
feel
just
that out.
go bring that
Go
out.
do our work.
I honestly feel like they were like, yo, you can probably relate to these brothers, yo. If you can just talk to them and let them know that they can't be doing this. And I definitely did step up and just, try to work with them. I worked with them for like the next 2.5 weeks and they were great. You know what I mean? But let's just move on real quick. It's
No baggy khakis.
no baggy khakis, no pleats in your pants. Yo, would you give your child, this is switching up a little bit, but it's still on topic. Would you give your child an African or African American sounding name? Why or why not?
I mean, my daughter actually has an African name, so I don't know. So I already won. So
I already won.
Well, yeah, my son got a pro-black ass name, so
Yeah.
yeah. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but the different, like, they might not know why, because some white people have that name. So it's like,
Yeah, but if you hear his whole name,
I mean,
you're
if
like,
you hear his whole name,
you're like, whoa.
But if they just say
fuck
the
is
first
this?
name,
You know what I'm saying?
they're not
the
gonna
first
be-
name might be like, all right, cool, but
They are
the second
cool.
niggas was
Like,
that
I went
middle name like,
totally-
whoa.
I went totally Orisha with it. I was like, boom.
Totally Orisha.
I went totally Orisha with it. I was like, yo, I'm going and giving my daughter the most.
Yeah. I would like for my child's
Yeah.
personality to lead beyond their name, so I don't see a problem with that.
All right, well,
Although I've definitely seen and witnessed white people skip over some shit, yo.
yo, I'm gonna be 100.
I've seen
I
them
used to
skip
hold
over
on.
names
Or if they can't pronounce your name,
Yes,
they
I've
give you.
definitely
They
seen them
always
skip over
give you a
names they can't
nickname.
pronounce.
Yo, my name. Yo, oh, I'm not gonna say my government, but my name is some hard to pronounce for some like white people, and this thing happens to me religiously. Where
Damn.
I got a nickname everywhere I go, yo.
that ain't nothing.
Hey,
Yo,
Frizz.
listen,
Hey, Frizz.
not even. Yo,
You know what I
I
mean?
had a black female supervisor.
She gave you a
right?
nickname? Black people giving nicknames too?
Respect
No.
yourself. But like, I remember, right?
Well, you don't have a hard name.
She
anyway.
would get applications, right?
Yeah.
To where I'm not gonna say where, but like this is back when I was in college, right? And if they had, I kid you not, this was she said. If they have ghetto sounding names, I'm throwing the resume in the trash. And I was like, whoa, don't you feel like that's problematic? She was like, nah, because usually those type of people come with those type of problems. I was like, what the fuck? Yo, she was dead ass, yo. And I was like, damn, son, like, word.
The internalized
Shit.
racism was drenched in her soul.
But yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100, yo. That job was wild regardless. Like, regardless, man. Like, so I was just like, damn, man, this is fucked up.
It
You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel you. I've
It hurts when it comes from us, yo. It hurts.
Yeah, facts.
I probably heard, even twice as much, I imagine, yo. Yeah.
I don't know, but that, yo, you know what? In my experience, that kind of lets me know what type of black person. Like, I had a job where the campus director was like, he was the most like non-threatening black man, but only for the white people. Like, he was non-threatening, actually for the black people too. Like, cause he's the type of dude
Non-threatening.
He the type of dude to like smile. Like he gonna fire you. He gonna fire you in a nice. Hey, you know, you're not really working out with our company, but we really appreciate the work that you put in. He's just not one of those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so he made like the white people that hired. They obviously hired this man because he made everyone feel very comfortable with who he was as a person. But if he was more of a, I guess, an authoritative or, you know, all right, for the lack of a better word, like an alpha type of black man, like really, I know what I want. I know if he came, I don't think he would have survived in his position. And he had a high position in the company. He had like, he was like the campus director. You know what I mean? So he, you know, he was the director over other directors. But
Yo,
I feel
I'm
like
trying to understand what's he
basically,
like, this guy just
I
talk
kind of feel
about
like they
random
put
shit.
black people like this
Yeah.
in that position
Yeah.
to kind of, because it makes them feel more comfortable. Does that make sense to you, G, what I'm saying?
I was just curious where this came from, but okay.
Basically, I was just saying his non-threatening nature
Yeah.
was why he was in a high position. Had he been, had he been like you, G, he might have not stayed in that position for too long because it might have been not even.
Watch your mouth, yo. You said I will get fired, son?
No. I'm just saying the perception of black men being men.
Yo,
You know what I mean? Or
quick question.
masculinity.
Do you guys have any recollection
Exuding from us.
in your past of any executives with black sounding names?
Any
Places you guys worked at? Any executives with like real black, pro-black, African sounding names?
I mean, black executives, not really. All right. Ooh. Damn. That don't got like a, because I'm like the only person I think of.
I remember my
is
executive
this-
floor was all white. I'm still trying to think
Yeah,
of that.
I don't have no black executives. I worked at a company that had like one black executive, and she was the cultural competency director.
Cultural competence.
And she was the only black administrator in the whole. There was a whole bunch of black floor staff, but she literally was the only black. And I can't remember if she had a very black sounding name, but it was kind of like it was kind of messed up because she would administer the messed up decisions that because the executives weren't very culturally competent. And they weren't really trying to be because the part of Massachusetts, this was like in Needham, Mass. So they weren't really trying to understand where the black people were coming from. They were just like, we're going to appoint a black person to speak to the black people, and that black person will speak to us. It was very corporate, very corporate.
That makes sense.
And, you know, so when the black people will say you're a black employee, you got a complaint, you go to her, the cultural competency director, and then she talks to them, It was like a third. It was weird. It was weird, man.
Got you.
White people, stop being weird, man.
No, so we're on the same accord on that one. I see. Is code switching? This is the last one. Is code switching a sign of self-hate or inferiority? I'm gonna off the back say no.
No, I'm gonna say. I think I'm gonna say no.
Because if you're trying to adapt in a certain environment and that's like the only reason for it, then right there it's just a tool to adapt. It's not necessarily
until we can employ ourselves and build our own communities. I gotta say no, because we don't have our own infrastructures enough to be like, yo, we can decide how we conduct business and we can decide that we are. I mean, in some instances we can.
No, you're right.
If you're an entrepreneur, if you own your business,
Dr. Claude Anderson used to say it. You know what I mean? He was like, yo, if we owned our own buildings where we were sagging our pants and talking reckless, it's one thing. But we ain't got that right now. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta.
Yeah, I'm maybe just playing devil's advocate, but I'm gonna say it is a form of inferiority, because if it wasn't, you wouldn't code switch. But you think what you truly are will not be accepted, right? Opposed to having the confidence of yourself, like, yo, no matter how I walk into this space, I demand respect. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Just like, does a Dame Dash code switch when he goes into a corporate meeting?
No, but Dame that's the whole thing. That's the whole point. Dame Dash is an owner.
And Dame Dash refuses to code switch.
He walks around like, even if he don't own it, he walks around like I own it.
But think about what you just
He
said.
has a whole
Think about what you just said.
Yeah.
Because you're not an owner, you're implying that you are inferior. Because
No,
you're like,
no, I'm
because
not
I don't
saying
own
that.
shit, I
No.
gotta do what they do.
Nah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the repercussions, right? Dame Dash doesn't have to face. He's not gonna face a company write-up, right? Where like for saying the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
But now listen what you're saying. You're actually supporting my argument.
I am supporting your argument.
Now,
I agree with you. I agree
it's
with
kind of
you.
like the whole Kaepernick thing, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know what? Yo, this dude wasn't really performing that good. So it's like,
I mean, that was bull because they hired so many whack
thank you. Let me
quarterbacks.
just finish my fucking
All right,
point.
let's
God
go.
damn.
So many
because
dudes
he's
that
not a
were whack.
superstar right now.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, shut the fuck up. Get out of here. But if he was in his A game, if it was like a Tom Brady, let's say equivalent, like a black Tom Brady. I'll even say that. Let's just say there was a black version of Tom Brady that white America loved and did the very same thing. Do you think he'll have the same reaction, the same punishment? No. Why? Because they're like, God damn, this motherfucker bringing us money. Yo, our fans love this dude. You know what? It is what it is. We just gonna suck it up. Hence, Marshawn Lynch. Motherfucker that's my man's. Savage with it.
I mean,
doesn't answer white people's questions at all, and will literally say to black reporters, "Yo, what's up, African? I'll holler at you after this." Yo, these white folk, next, like just clear like savagery, but disrespectful.
Savagery.
But he's a beast.
Clear love,
But he's a monster on the field. So
Shouts
what
out to
happened?
Marshawn
Because
Lynch,
he's a monster
man.
on the
He's
field,
a
white
monster.
folk go, give him a pass. So now, again, when we're talking about code switching, it's all about power. If you're not in a position of power, then technically, aren't you saying you're in an inferior position?
No, I agree with your argument. I agree that, but what I'm saying is, you yourself is not necessarily inferior. I mean, anytime, regardless of race.
No, but
anytime
what you're doing is you're even if you
Well,
don't
I said
believe
it in the
I
beginning,
think
you're acquiescing.
Yeah, and your definitions be killing me, because technically you said earlier, if you acquiesce, you're cooning. So, but
Hey,
now
I did say that.
if you're literally saying, if you're walking into a space, right, and you're like, damn, I'm not in a position of power, so therefore I have to walk in a way where it's acceptable to those in power, you're moving as if you are inferior. You see what I'm saying? Because if you were in a position of power, you're not gonna, like, let's say if me and Rome are doing negotiations, right? And I go, yo, I'm bringing A, B, C, D, F, G to the table, right? Rome's just bringing like 2 things to the table. So when I go to negotiate, I'm setting the standard. I'm setting the rules. This is what it is. The tone. I'm setting everything.
Yeah.
But if I'm coming from a space of, damn, like, I don't have much to offer this deal, and Rome has the leverage, and like, if I disagree, Rome could easily just walk away and go to the next person. I'm going into that negotiation inferior, and I'm just like, fuck. All right, I guess I gotta be really, really nice to Rome. I gotta, I'm gonna bring his favorite fucking coffee, his favorite drink, and I'm gonna get him like a Henny bottle. I'm gonna do anything I can for Rome to be like, yo, you know what, G? Yeah, I appreciate it. You know what? I'll do business with you. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm gonna take him out to his favorite restaurant. Pretty much, I'm going to be buck dancing for this motherfucker, right? Because I want his business, right? That's what entrepreneurs do, right? Yo, think about this. Entrepreneurs do that a lot.
So, when they want entrepreneurs coons by nature?
No, I won't say that.
I'll co-sign inferiority. I can't co-sign self-hate. It's not self-hate. I don't think you hate yourself.
I agree.
I don't think it's self-hate.
It's hard to make an argument about self-hate, but inferiority
I think it's just it's like a chameleon. You're adapting to your environment, and I think that's all it really is. It's adapting to your environment. But at the end of the day,
but let me ask you a question. Yeah. Both of y'all a question, right? Like the self-hate component, right?
Yeah.
If you're like truly on some like, fuck, I'm on my pro-black shit. Yeah. Right?
As I am.
As you appear to be. I don't know if you truly are.
Well, I don't know if you
walk
truly
with me on
are
this. When you let's say tomorrow you got fired from your job.
Yeah.
Right? And let's say you got called for a job interview or something. Mm-hmm. How would you walk into your job interview?
In a suit. Probably bow tie, because I like bow ties.
Ooh. Okay. Do you wear that every day? No. So why? But I go to
every job interview in a suit.
I know that. I know you do that. Trust me, I know you do that.
Job culture. Now,
job culture, right? Hold on. But now, Mr. I'm so pro-black, and you try to go out your way.
Well, it doesn't matter. Even if it was a black company,
African rebellion, and everything, right? Like, why don't you go to those job interviews with that same representation?
What do you mean? With my Malcolm X chain?
Your Malcolm X chain, your onks out, all of that stuff.
Well, that's personal. That's me.
How's it personal when it's you?
I'm not here to be.
Show it,
huh?
You outwardly show it when you walk down the street.
I do. So and if I'm not at work and somebody happens to see me,
so are you saying at work?
Which has happened.
So at work you don't wear those.
I do actually. I do.
Oh, okay, but you won't wear them during the job interview.
Wait till I get to the job first, man.
Oh, so
you gotta get the job, right? Nah, but that's where I am with it. I'm just like, when I wear my Malcolm X chain.
I'm not wearing a suit.
You know what I mean? It's a dope chain. You see this chain?
I'll get a lineup and I clean up and I dress how I think.
You're not wearing a suit.
I'm definitely not wearing a suit.
Well, see, for me, I'm wearing a suit. Just because that is not just like a black thing. That's a standard for probably any adult position that you'll get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless
like he don't give a fuck.
No, it don't. Exactly. Yeah, I can understand what he's saying. Like if I was applying to be a writer at Complex, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't even know if it's necessary. Probably not, because they don't care. But then if I'm applying to be a director for I don't know, a nonprofit or an after school program.
Yeah, listen,
you're gonna have to wear a suit.
Yeah, if you're going for that position, you see what it looks like.
Yeah, you gotta know what.
Yeah, you
just gotta know the culture. Right? You gotta dress the part.
My supervisor always says this, like dress the part. So if you want people to view you as a director or a vice president, you gotta dress like one, And I will say this, right?
Yeah.
As a person that doesn't give a fuck, I literally come as I is to work.
As I is
to work.
As I is, you heard it first from Jesus.
But I will say this though, right? Like the days that I do wear a suit, right? If I ever do, there's sometimes I'll wear a suit. Just the way coworkers, colleagues, and students look at you is completely different. Like respect level just increases.
It shoots up.
Literally had one of my mentees go, yo, G, you should wear a suit like every day, yo. Like, I'm just saying, yo, like you look like a boss. And I'm like, because of a suit?
Yo.
Some thread made by some white guy. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm on a mission to change the appearance
change that culture
of a director, executive boss.
But how do you do that?
And that's why I'm not ever wearing a suit.
So
or
you're on
tie.
your Russell
At
Simmons.
least a tie.
You're on your Russell Simmons right now.
I'm on my Russell Simmons.
You going
Russell
into
at
the
least
board
wears a
meeting with
blazer,
the
though.
sneakers.
I'm on my
You do.
with sneakers.
You got your fat forms
And,
on.
for the record, I'm not ever wearing a suit with sneakers. I think that shit looks kind of tacky. I ain't gonna.
That
front.
looks terrible.
That looks
Pick
tacky.
a side.
But
Pick
pick a side.
Pick a
Yo,
side.
for real, pick a side.
And then they got the sneakers that they look like half shoes, half sneakers, like a hybrid.
Yo, I got a pair of half
chill.
shoes, half sneakers.
I'm telling
Alright.
all the designers, stop it. Stop it. No, I'm
Hating ass
playing.
niggas.
I'm hating on your design.
Hating
No, I'm
ass
playing.
niggas.
You know what I mean?
Some of them
But
look good.
Seriously,
Some of them
though,
look good.
I really honestly
I went to
am.
a wedding in a suit with sneakers on, so watch your mouth.
Oh man.
Real, that's some real OG shit. You know what I'm saying?
Get some
But yo,
Salvador Ferragamo.
But listen,
man.
I really am on a mission to change that. I want a successful person not to look like a man in a suit, but to look similar to how I look now. I want a successful.
I think a lot of people.
And with that, you'll be able to now that the successful person looks like who I am now. It's more of a someone who looks like me is now. Oh, I can relate with this and I can be successful.
Have you ever seen Gary? What's his name? Gary Vaynerchuk. In his suit.
Bro, Steve Jobs. There's mad white people that don't wear suits.
They don't wear suits.
Mark, what's his
Zuckerberg?
name? Mark Zuckerberg.
Wait, I think I've seen Mark Zuckerberg in a suit.
Recently, but he walked into the meeting when he sold Facebook public. When he walked into the
T-shirt?
meeting with all those Wall Street cats, he walked in with a hoodie, and they were complaining. They were like, "Yo, what are you doing wearing a hoodie? You didn't dress up for this, blah 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 blah." He was like, "Nigga, you buying my shit." You know what I mean? Like,
I do that.
go somewhere with that shit.
I disrespect the wholesale.
You know what I mean? I respect the fuck out of him just for that. I was like, you know what? Shout out to Mark Zuckerberg for
I
not
mean, it
performing.
was worth too much. The power was in his hands.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You
They
wanna
couldn't
wear a
say
suit,
anything
don't
at
wear a
that
suit.
point, you know?
I'm Bruce Wayne. I show up to a meeting with some flip flops on. And,
What I
and
think
a
a
robe.
suit represents, you're putting on. It's exactly that. It's a suit. You know what I mean? You're dressing up and you're pretending to be
You're
someone
playing,
else.
but that's just the corporate. I think that's the corporate.
that's that corporate
community. Yeah, it's. I
shit,
think
you know
that's
what I
just
mean?
corporate. It's
But I would
just-
love to just change that. I don't know. I'm working on it. I don't know
Yeah,
how.
but
I don't have the answers.
I don't know if we're
but
gonna
then
change
it's
corporate,
like,
though.
But because like,
Yeah.
is there room for individuality in corporate culture?
Yeah, why not?
There should be.
Yo, there's a lot of
Maybe-
corporate like.
Yo, think about this, right?
Yo, listen, they play video games at Microsoft.
There's-
Google
Yo,
has
but-
like
yo, but you know, hold on.
there's like some
The tech
like
industry's
individual like people
Yo, you can't use the
walk
tech
around.
industry because it's a little different, right? Because the tech
Why?
industry,
They're
for one,
leading the charge.
No, because the tech industry, if you look at the executives, they actually wear suits. The CEO of Google, that motherfucker always has a suit
Nah,
on.
you're right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
At an
the
executive
engineers,
level.
they don't want they want the engineers as comfortable as they can. So all these computer geeks and everything,
So wear your
they
Reebok
give them
pumps and-
everything
yeah.
just so they can be so comfortable that they produce the next like $1 billion
They drink on the job and everything, yeah.
creation or something.
Yeah.
Whatever it
But
takes.
the corporate people though are wearing the suits. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, and
The
not to mention
executives.
too, like
At the
Google's a little
executive
different,
level.
right?
Executive
Yo, to
level.
work at Google, you're going through like 10 interviews. So that's a lot.
I'd like
They're
to
trying
see.
to gain your
I'd like to see
intellectual
our audience.
property.
Yeah, they're more concerned about what you're bringing to the table than how you actually appear. They don't really care about your appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at other jobs, right? Like, and this is why I think what you guys got to consider is your dress code kind of tells them that you know something, right? And I always explain this to my students, right? Like, for example, like
It's
I
all
always
about
tell them,
perception, not about reality. But
exactly, but that's true though. But like, think about this. Like, there's rules to engagement, right? There are a lot of people, like inner city kids, they don't know.
Yeah.
You'll see a bunch of black kids going to a job interview in a black suit, right? Like, that's typical for some places. But for the most part, your first suit should not be a black suit. Why? Because that's a formal thing. Like, black suits are for what? Like,
Weddings.
funerals and weddings, right? But like, so you're supposed to wear like either a dark gray suit or a dark blue suit. But only those that are in the know really know that, you know? So when you go to that job interview and you're in a black suit, they're looking at you kind of funny style, like, damn, he doesn't know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I usually
Then there's
wear
certain
t-shirt
people,
jackets.
like, you're supposed to only button your top button. Motherfuckers will button both. They'll sit down with their fucking blazer, like the suit jacket's still buttoned up. They don't unbutton the shit. Like, these are like little things that certain people
that should
don't
be
know.
bothering me, yo.
And that kind of separates you and it puts you in like a class of, you're not ready yet. So it's like they produce these standards that they're not teaching this shit in high schools. They're only teaching in certain like colleges.
At Sloan.
You know what I mean? So it's like, nah, real talk. So then when it's like you go, they can tell like, okay, well, you're not from this
Because they want to vet people.
or you're not from this like Ivy League school or whatever, because you're not presenting yourself in the right way. You're not shaking the person's hand the correct way. You know, like, so they look at all of this stuff. So like these standards that they establish kind of, in my eyes anyways, separates like, you know, the wolves from the sheep. You see what I'm saying? Because the sheep are just going to roll in there like, yo, give me a job. While the wolves are going to behave a particular way on some like, yo, you're giving me this job. And so that's why I'm like, we could push for individuality, but if we do, you're making like the HR person's job 10 times harder.
Why do you say
Because,
that?
no, think about this. It's the package. So think about when you buy
you're
stuff
saying
in the
you
store.
can't- the
No,
HR
no,
can't-
think about this.
Yeah.
When you go to the store, right? Like, you don't know what the product is yet. Or let's say food or whatever. You don't know how it tastes. You're judging based upon the overall package.
Yeah.
Right? If the package looks professionally done or it looks appeasing to the eye, the product probably tastes like shit, or it probably doesn't work, or it probably is just as effective as all the other products on the shelves. But because it looks good, you go, you know what? Let me check that out. It's all about appearance. Yo, corporate
Well, you should
America is the
still
same
be
thing.
the best version of yourself. I'm just saying you shouldn't have to put on this general ass overarching suit to say, yo, I'm definitely qualified.
Ron,
Well,
let me
that's
ask-
the whole thing, though. Corporate culture is all about uniformity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They actually don't stress individualism in corporate culture. That's why, like, most companies would not accept my hair. Not because I have dreads, because there's corporate people who wear dreads, but they just have to tie it to the back, or do whatever they want to make it.
They need to see your face.
Yo,
for the
and
most
it's
part.
another thing too. Like, yo, you ever watch
But me,
like
I'm
the show?
fighting Babylon.
Like,
so-
yo, do y'all watch the show Ballers? Yo, it's
Yes.
actually,
No,
show Ballers like,
I haven't seen this season,
but
but yeah,
Ball-
I'm familiar.
Balls. There's one character, right, who got involved in the weed business, right? Now, him being involved in a weed business has nothing to do with what he does on the field, right? However, like, it was a coach. I think it was like either the general manager wanted him fired or the coach wanted him fired. It was one of the two. And then like the coach and general manager got into a fight over it, like a disagreement about it. But like how in these sports, right, they go, we don't want any distractions on or off the field or on the court or whatever. How they look at it is, you know what? Like, if we allow this to happen, it could fuck up the chemistry of the team. All kind of stuff can happen. And because of that, they go, we don't give a fuck how talented you are. You know what? Bye. And corporate America is similar. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, yo, are you willing to play ball the way we want you to play ball? And if you're
It's all
not
about
willing,
control.
is that, yeah, but it's
Yes.
true though.
So this is why I'm
you know what I
stressing
mean?
entrepreneurship, because I actually feel like more of us need to get out of that control system.
I mean, I
mechanism,
wish for the same thing. That doesn't mean
because you can make money without having someone control you.
absolutely.
That's not true,
There's
man.
ways.
You know?
I mean, even as an entrepreneur, you have to appease your clients.
Exactly.
do.
Everyone has a boss,
But this
bro.
is the difference. Your clients don't control you.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, all right.
What are you talking
So you
about?
never heard.
Think about all
You've
of
never
these.
heard of
you know how many
artists-
entrepreneurs fail? Why? Because they're not listening to their customers. Their customers are their boss. And so if you really want to be successful, you have to understand everyone has a boss. You know? You could pretend like, yeah, yo, I'm my own boss, this, that, and the third. That sounds cute. When all your clients, all your customers walk away, are you still a boss? Boss of
You
what?
absolutely do have to answer to your
You a
clients.
boss of a fucking empty building in debt. You know what I mean?
The difference is with when you're an entrepreneur, you at least get to choose your clientele,
Exactly.
but still, even then, you have to make sure that they're happy.
No, that goes what I'm saying. But I
you
wouldn't
know-
say your clientele is your boss. I would say that you are exchanging a service, right? How many people? Let me give you a good. How many times have you had a plumber? They doing their job and they like their ass is hanging out, but they doing the job. You're not like, oh, you ever walk up to the plumber with the
Yeah,
ass
there's people
cheeks
that
there?
do that though. There's people that do complain. That's what you talking
I
about.
don't know. I just be like, yo,
Yo, think about this.
I'm glad that
yo,
my faucet
plumbers,
works.
hold on, plumbers.
I'm glad that
Yo,
my faucet works.
yo,
That's
those
just-
companies that work for major corporations,
Yeah.
their workers don't do that shit. Why? Because they're like, yo, listen here, yo. People complain.
They have a
Stop
brand
that
to
shit.
protect.
Exactly. So they're like, oh,
Oh, the
shit.
uniformity. All right. So, all
Thank you.
right. I can respect the
You
uniformity.
could be that. You could be that. You
But
know,
who-
that dude on the block that
who's
everyone
gonna give you
goes
the better
to
deal? That
because
dude?
he gives you like 50% off. Like he meant whatever so and so's giving you, I'll give you for like $100 less, and then you get subpar service.
Well, it's
But
not
it's like-
necessarily subpar because his ass is hanging out. He's just a plumber, and that's.
I mean, look,
Hey man.
I think entrepreneurship is something that everyone should strive for, but it's not an easy thing. You know what I mean? It's definitely not easy.
No,
Maybe
not
that'll give
everyone
you,
should strive for that. I'm telling y'all this right now.
Hang
Yo,
on.
let's stop. The shit's fucking
Hang
hard.
on. It's
Some
hard
niggas
as
ain't
hell.
built for this
it's hard.
life.
Not everyone's built for it, but that doesn't mean. Listen, if you go to your job every day, right? Because I've done it for 10 years to a point where I was literally fed the fuck up. If you want to change that situation,
Yep.
you change the fuck out of that
I agree,
situation.
but not everybody wants
Not
to change
everyone
that.
has to.
Not everybody wants to.
Not everyone wants to.
I'm
so
not
if
telling
you're
you to
happy,
just be
I'm
out-
not talking to
yeah.
anyone who's happy about that.
Yeah.
If you're happy with your job, continue to do your job. If you hate that shit, strive for entrepreneurship.
Do better.
Just know that it's not an easy task.
Or,
Nothing's easy.
or if you hate your job, apply for another job.
You can apply for another job, but to be honest with you, it's gonna be the same thing. You're gonna have to.
Nah, that's not true.
No,
that's
no,
not true.
every
It's not
job's
true.
different.
Every job's different.
You might like.
It
You might
depends.
like what
This
you're
is
doing.
the difference, right? Yo, what y'all not telling the people is entrepreneurship comes with, you know, instead of doing 40 hours a week, you might be doing 70 hours a week. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
But
you might.
if you love it, it shouldn't
you-
feel like.
It's not gonna feel like
hold on,
work if
I
you love
agree
what
with
You know
y'all.
what I mean? You,
But however,
you should be obsessive over something.
You could also love your 9 to 5. You see
no,
what
you
I'm
can't.
saying?
I'm not talking to
And then
them.
this is the difference: risk versus reward, right? Some people like the fact that when they go to their 9 to 5, right, they don't have to think about all the clients that they have to recruit or all the other stuff. They just go in, they focus on one thing, and they get to leave. Entrepreneurs have to think about a lot of shit, and that's why their stress levels are so high. It's different. There's levels to this shit. Y'all are making it seem like every black person could be entrepreneurs. How many times you go to
Nah.
fucking black
Yo,
establishments and
I'ma say it
motherfuckers are
first.
struggling?
I'ma
Let's
say
keep
it
it
first.
100.
Every
They
black
not built
person
for
can
that life.
become an
Hold on,
entrepreneur.
time out.
I said it.
No, peep.
I said it
they
first.
They want to be entrepreneurs, but they don't have the know-it-all. They don't have the skill sets
Yo.
to actually execute the job effectively.
This is what I feel like
That- I
hurts
mean,
us in our
be
community.
critical and do your research.
Let's just be real.
Yo,
Some
nah,
people aren't chiefs. Some motherfuckers are actually Indians.
I mean, I think that's your
Let's
opinion,
just keep-
but
is
I
that
think
my opinion or is that fact?
it's your
So
opinion.
can you learn
Because
to
that
be-
some people aren't chiefs, some people are Indians. That's an opinion.
Yo, we was all kings and queens
Shut
once,
the fuck
brother.
up. You see that Afrocentric bullshit? You know what I'm saying? Afro-romanticism
Listen, this
over
is
here.
all I'm saying. All right, I know what G's saying. You don't want to push people out of their job and then they're in a shit situation.
No. I get what
But-
he's saying.
But
Oh,
at
now
the
y'all get it.
Yeah, it sounds like you
no,
scared.
It's just when you say
scared,
that,
bruh.
you say stop.
Okay.
You're putting a stop on someone who may actually want to do that. I'm
Thank
not
you.
talking to people who I'm not talking. Listen, if you're happy with your job, and
Yo,
you're
if you
cool,
bought that life, go for it.
go
yo.
for it. If you like the 9 to 5 life,
I
continue
agree
it.
with y'all.
You know
That's
what
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying.
I mean, I
if-
just tell anybody in any situation, if you don't like what you're
If
doing,
you don't like what you're doing,
something
change your
different.
situation, yo. Do something about it.
do something different, because at the end of the day, and change can be gradual. It don't have to be abrupt. It don't have to be I'm leaving my job, I'm leaving my girl, I'm leaving my life, I'm going to California and starting a new. It can be like just take steps. I don't know, like my job. I'm gonna look for a new job.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
want to
gonna
look
say
for.
this.
I want
Be
to.
the change you want to see,
Yeah.
Be the change
and
you
that's
want
it.
to see.
I'm not gonna tell a person how to do it. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna say is, what makes you happy? Success should be happiness, right?
True.
So what makes you happy? If being your own quote unquote boss makes you happy, then go for it. But if, working X amount of hours, knowing that you could go home to your family and live that typical American dream life, go for that also. You see what I'm saying? Because again, there's benefits, there's positives and negatives on both ends. I'm not gonna like lie to people and be like, yeah, every black person should be an entrepreneur. That's fucking outrageous, bro.
I mean, it might be a lot
I
of
think
you,
the
but
only
it's not a
reason
lot of
why
me, bro.
we want to push it is because we definitely need more
We need
black
more.
businesses so that we can at least hire and
We don't
give
gotta- yo,
more
can-
jobs
yo,
to
but
our
think about
communities.
this.
I need a
Listen to what
black
y'all
farm.
saying.
I need a black supermarket.
But you need
I need a
more
black
black
airplane.
businesses. Hold on, you need more black businesses, right?
Yeah.
To have black employees.
Yeah.
So again, not everyone could be entrepreneurs because you still need employees.
I just need
to
somebody.
make
I know
that
everybody not gonna
business
do it.
flourish.
I'm just
I
casting
know
the wide
everybody
net.
not gonna do it,
I'm
but
just casting
yo,
the
my-
wide net.
my-
y'all, I'm speaking to the person. I'm speaking to the person that's like, you know what? I feel like I could do it. I'm smart enough. Maybe I got to do the research, figure out how I could do what I want to do. But I'm speaking to that person that wants
Got
to
you.
do something different. I'm telling you, and it's not by accident. I said the Instagram economy. There are people out here making crazy money on social media, selling things online, doing things. There are people already doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, our
Well,
people could be a
listen.
part of that. A part of those things.
I got you, but we gotta you
Wrap
had
up.
something to say?
Yo, let the intern speak, man.
You gotta be quick.
Yo,
Yeah,
speak
'cause we
your
gonna
speech,
wrap
bro.
up. We
Fool,
gonna
I
wrap
was
up
just gonna
soon.
say, yo, they
Yeah.
plan like people who started businesses online, any type of business, offline, online branches, things like that. They planned it out. They had a strategy.
You
Of
have
course.
to map it out.
Of course,
You
map
can't
it
tell
out.
People who feel like, yo, I could just go and do this tomorrow.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I said change. Remember what I said? I said change doesn't have to be abrupt. You can do small little increment steps to get where you need to go. I think was
Yeah,
it
you
Bun
just set
B?
your goal and
Yeah.
and strive to get to it. I
Bun B
understand.
said it. He was like, "Yo, if you want to be a rapper, there's nothing wrong with being a rapper with a 9 to 5. You need that 9 to 5 to support your rap. Everybody think you got to
need
be
to
a hustler
support your rap
and
career.
do whatever you want to, like whatever it is. It don't have to be rap,
Listen,
but I'm saying
I
whatever you
would
want
just
to
like
do, find a way to get.
Yo,
get
before
just
we
where
wanna
you
end
go.
cast
this, yo,
wide
can I say one thing, yo?
Yeah.
Yo, please, yo, subscribe to my YouTube channel. G of U Panic.
I'm
you
gonna
know
do all
what I
that shit at the end.
G-E-E of OFUPANIC''D. Come check your boy out. Content's coming real soon. Shout out to your boy. Go ahead, Rome. My bad.
No worries. I'm just casting the wide net so that we can get some of these businesses so that we can at least hire our own people and then you don't have to deal with the stress of code switching. Ultimately is, I think, what I'm really trying to get at here. But
I'm
I
with you
do
with
have to
that.
wrap up.
But you don't want a workplace of people acting like niggas, yo. That's all I'm saying.
Nah.
That shit
This-
happens.
Hey, yo, I
That
don't
shit
appreciate.
happens.
No,
I don't
listen,
appreciate
I gotta shut it down. I gotta shut it
using
down.
that
We-
word
I
in a
only got
negative
9 minutes to wrap
connotation.
this up. But look, no.
Closing remarks.
Listen,
Yeah.
I have to close it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You Panicked with a U, PANICD. All right. Make sure you hit us up on YouTube. You Panicked. UPANICD. Definitely keep in touch. We will be dropping things through the You Panic Twitter account, and that's it. All right. It's You Panic.
Thank you.